Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Having some starting trouble? We can help you out. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a charge, we can help with that too. And if you need a new battery, we've got a wide selection of replacement batteries starting at just $79.99. And we're the only place you can find proven tough Duralast batteries, including Duralast Platinum with AGM and EFB technology. That's why we're America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2020.
Church's has a deal made for you or all y'all. Choose your favorite tenders or classic style chicken and spicy or original with sides and biscuits for everyone. So swing by for Church's Feed 6 starting at $20 deals. Church's, bringing that down home flavor. Offer valid at participating locations.
It's time to wake up with a nice cup of morning roast. Featuring Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. Presented by Timeless Coffee. This is the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game.
Come on, dog. Get it rolling, dog.
Oh, baby, we get no highlights after a Giants loss? No highlights?
What highlights?
Someone's mailing it in.
Somebody's mailing it in. Give me a Corbin Bird strikeout. What are those 9 Ks? What about a Josh Hader save for the Brewers?
Give me a Crawford RBI single.
That's all we got. That's all we got. What about a replay review? Giants lose 3-1 to the Brew Crew.
Replay review.
Give me a replay review of the 9th inning. Good morning, everybody.
Can we put something on this television where we can watch, actually? Why are we looking at the news and replays of losses?
First of all, good morning, everybody out there. Twitch brought to you by Xfinity, YouTube, all our roasters on the text line. Cole's in for Butcher. He's here all week long. I do want the news changed. There's a lot of depressing things going out there.
I know. There's way too much bad going on.
Don't need that from 6 to 10.
Way too much bad.
We'll already get up at 3:30 in the morning. We don't need that at 6 in the morning. That's too much.
Man.
Those Giants, all right, they've lost 2 in a row. They lose the first of 4 to the Brew Crew. Season series now even at 2 apiece. But these Bats, Coles, we knew these Bats would be in for a tough weekend. The Brewers set the tone yesterday with Birds, who 9 Ks, 6 innings, just easy. What about Williams? Freezing Posey in the 8th. 97 on the black. And I was like, oh, this is serious.
This Milwaukee, I told you this yesterday. This Milwaukee team is serious, and they're to be dealt with that way. This is when the playoffs start for the San Francisco Giants. You know, we had Flem on yesterday, and he said this could be the week where you say, well, this is where we put it all together. This is where we started to make our distance. This is when we let everybody know, now's our time. But it didn't start that way last night, and it doesn't make you feel that much better. And I was listening to Steven on the way in this morning. He's all giddy about, I feel good about the 3-1 loss. I think we did some good things. Hey, I got news for you. You just saw a playoff game, and you weren't up to the challenge. All right, that's what I saw in game number 1, and I'm disappointed. And look, hey, all you need to know is how many different pitchers did Gabe Kapler use in this game? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pitchers. You think he meant that? He meant it yesterday. He wanted to win that game.
He did want to win that game, as Alex Wood was put on the COVID-19 list. Johnny Cueto, he got scratched. So now you're down 2 more starting pitchers.
Yeah.
And this is the big concern for me. Again, I know people are going to say, oh, man, in August, the month of August had a 3.27 ERA, the starters, that is. But I'm only getting 5 innings out of these guys. And now you take 2 of them away, and now you got to keep relying on this bullpen. Jose Quintana just signed with the Giants yesterday, and is that supposed to make me excited? Absolutely not. This guy, I mean, come on, he's a Cub reject.
Yeah, well.
He's a White Sox reject. This guy's better, like, I don't mean to be harsh, Coles, but
That's
Jose
harsh.
Quintana.
That's harsh.
Jose Quintana, that's supposed to make me go goo goo gaga, make me jump for joy.
We laughed about Cody Ross back in 2010, and the next thing you know, that guy's the hero of the World Series. So you never know where it's going to come. Hey, I will tell you this: if anyone can grind and find a piece that can help you for a short amount of time, hasn't Farhan Zaidi proven that?
Yes.
You know what? If I'm going to pull in a guy, I'm not going to ask him to be part of our 162, but maybe, just maybe, for a 2-week period where I got a couple of pitchers who aren't feeling well, well, I've got to have maybe put him on the COVID list. Maybe for 2 weeks I can find a guy who can grind and give me a few innings and get me through some things.
You hope.
That's all you can get.
That's all you can
hope for,
That's
right?
all you can hope for. But the Giants now a game and a half up on the Dodgers. They beat the Braves last night 5-3. Urias gets his NL best 15th win of the season. How about the poor Braves? Got to travel cross country on a Sunday, go all the way to L.A. Too bad for them. Tough cookie there. But the Dodgers 1.5 behind the Giants as the Giants try to get game 2 tonight. And the Bats goes, look, it's going to be tough sledding this week. But starting in New York City against the Mets, you saw the Bats start to go cold. They had to scratch a couple wins out of there. Atlanta, the Bats kind of go silent there in Atlanta. You get shut out on Sunday, and then you got to face Corbin Burns. Look, a lot of people don't know about Corbin Burns. This guy is pure filth. And we discussed this yesterday, as you said, Coles. When you go up against these teams like the Brewers, the Dodgers, and the Braves, you know what? Put the Braves to the side. It's the Dodgers and the Brewers.
Yep.
They got 3 guys that could go in a 5 or 7-game series, and they could go twice in a 7-game series. And Burns is one of those guys. This guy is one of the best National League pitchers nobody knows about.
You know what? The Giants had their chance in the 7th when they had runners at the corners and just one out, and they had bad at-bats at that point.
Yep.
And I was disappointed for a team that always gives you good at-bats, but you're right. When you get a guy on the ropes, you got to do something with it. And am I pushing the panic button too much, thinking, at the time I'm down 2-1, I got runners at the corners, maybe I'm bunting a guy in. Maybe I just want to bunt one in to tie this game up just to give myself a feel. I'll give up an out to scratch me a run to tie the game.
I'm not mad at that strategy. I didn't even think about it when I was watching it. I was just thinking, get a big hit. Get a big hit.
Did you feel they could get the big hit? Did you feel that they could do that?
Yesterday, the Bats team, it just seemed like, it was one of those games where it felt like the game was lost before it started. I don't like saying that a lot. You know what I'm saying? With this team, they've been professionals. They've battled. But it felt like once Wood and Cueto, you kind of just felt like, 2 more starters.
Yeah.
God. Where's LaGoria at? He's hurt. Like, it just felt like, it kind of was a gut punch to me, Coles.
Are you starting to feel like the breaks are going against you? Because you got some breaks early. You made the deal. You end up getting Chris Bryant. You start to think I'm getting Tommy La Stella back, and then you're starting to think I'm going to get Longoria back. So you think the breaks are going your way, and you're going to be able to hit your stride when you hit September. But instead, you kind of get the gut punch. Are you starting to? Because there's a feeling. There is a momentum feel and swing.
There is.
Is this the momentum swing and feel where, as much as Dave Fleming said this could be the week where you propel yourself forward, this is the week we look back and say, pitchers get COVID. Player still has COVID from the Mets series. He can't help you in a series. Now I'm getting injuries. Chris Bryant played, but he still has the rib issue.
Right.
And I'm facing the Brewers, and I'm facing the Dodgers. It goes like this in the next couple of days. You could start that Dodgers series either even or looking up at them in the standings.
You can end this week a couple games behind the Dodgers. Those are facts. And when you look at the schedule, we had Steiny on the showdown yesterday, Coles, and he brought up the 10-game stretch. I didn't think I was just looking at the 7-game stretch.
And I am too.
But he's right. Coors Field has been a house of horrors over the years for the Giants. Weird things happen at Coors Field.
True.
And when I look at their bats, it doesn't matter who's playing for the Rockies. Tapia, Trevor Story, Charlie Blackmon, they're going to hit the ball. And you're going to have that bullpen taxed by the time you play Colorado. There's no days off, Coles. There's not a day off for the Giants until Thursday, September 9th.
Whoa. That's a lot of baseball in a lot of days.
Against these teams.
Yeah, against some tough teams.
And you've already bullpenned. What did you say? 7 pitchers yesterday used in that game just on a Monday. Now what are you going to do today? Today for Gosman, that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Giants don't even have a pitcher listed today. They don't even know who's towing the bump. TBD. So we don't even know who's on the mound today. Like, it could be another bullpen
15th
game.
caller. 888-957-9570. 15th caller, you get the start.
Let's go to George in the Jungle. He's calling early, man.
Yeah, George.
He wants to call early. George in the Jungle on the roast. What's up, man?
Gentlemen, hope springs eternal. What happened to your attitude from the spring and early summer? This is Chicken Little Radio. The sky is falling.
No, George. No,
That's
George.
In baseball.
George, the sky's not falling.
In baseball.
But am I wrong to be a little bit concerned about the starting rotation? Am I a little bit concerned? Am I allowed to be a little concerned about the bats that have gone limp over the last week? Like, what's going on here, George?
Have a little faith. It's always darkest before the dawn. Come on, the sun is coming up.
I like this call. I like this call, George.
Who are you, Bane from The Dark Knight Rises?
I like this, George.
You know, you can't look at this like it's all over. We like what he's doing. We like this manager. Come on, guys.
I like it.
All right, George.
I like
Thanks for
this,
the call.
George. That's a good start, my man.
Look.
We got to get centered here, and George just did it. George centered us. As tough as things are, this is the grindingest team in Major League Baseball, using the second most amount of guys on a roster all year long, and they've been able to plug and play, and they still have the best damn record in the game. George, that's a good start, my friend.
That is a great start, but I live in reality. And I start seeing it tweets
It's around the
yesterday.
corner from Fantasyland.
It is. It really is. Look, I start seeing the tweets from Giants fans yesterday. This is starting to feel like 1993. Now, my mind hasn't gone there.
Wow.
I'm not saying that at all.
Wow.
Like 1993, they completely fell out of the playoffs. They're going to be in October. Now, holding off the Dodgers, nobody said it was going to be easy. That team's not going away. But you got to get this right. You got to at least, to me, Coles, on this homestand, if you go 4-3 or 3-4, I'll take that.
If you know what? Let me tell you something. If you give me today, sign up for 4-3, I'm signing the document in blood, taking 4-3. I'm taking 4-3.
You have to, right?
Yep, absolutely.
You have to.
Absolutely. That means to me, if it's, let's just say, you split with the Brew Crew, which clearly can happen. And you take 2 or 3 from the Doyers. There is not a Giants fan who wouldn't take that deal right now. Every Giants fan who goes to 3rd and King says, "Give me 4-3 this week, and I'll be happy."
Yeah, no doubt about that. 888-957-9570. Are we out of bounds to be a little concerned? Well, I'm a little concerned. I don't know how Coles feels about them, but I'm looking at the bats, right? And I'm looking at the last 7 days. I love these 7-day splits, Coles.
I love it.
Buster Posey batting 200. All right, Alex Dickerson batting 211. Yaz, 222. LaStella, 227. Lamont Wade Jr., 231. But it's also the power that's lacking from these guys. And what about Brandon Crawford, MVP candidate? Last 7 days. In 6 games, Brandon Crawford batting 143.
That's not going to get it
143.
done.
Those are not good splits, Coles.
No, they're not. And remember, part of that 7 day span was still a sweep. So you're able to be successful even though you're not hitting the ball very well. Right. You go to Atlanta, that's where the struggles ended up happening. But you're right. Last 2 games, they've scored just 1 run. You get shut out 9-0. You get beat 3-1. You've had some games in which you've scored 3, 5 in a loss, 5 in a win, and then no runs on Sunday and 1 run yesterday. You know what? The way the game is played now, everyone's scoring big bulk runs. Everyone's putting up big crooked numbers. You got to get that offense back and running. Maybe being back home, although last night it didn't work, maybe being back home, the bats start to come back around. But for now, maybe we're making too much of losing 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's Brewers and it's Dodgers. Yeah. These are the teams you have to worry about because these are the teams you're going to face in October.
And add Atlanta to the mix. You lose a series in the ATL.
Yeah.
If you don't hit at that hitter-friendly ballpark, that's a problem there. Corbin Burns last night, 6 innings, 9 Ks, gave up the 1 run. Look, this guy has been filthy this year. 189 strikeouts on the season, a 2.27 ERA, which is second in the National League, a 0.94 whip. This guy doesn't walk anybody. 139 innings pitched, 189 strikeouts for Corbin Burns, and he's only walked 26 guys while giving up 5 homers. He's the type of dude in October that could just dominate and carry a pitching staff, Coles.
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, this is a guy who can be an ace on any other staff in Major League Baseball. He's that good. The end result is they also have coupled it with not only good starters, they've coupled it with a darn good back into the bullpen. They got 3 guys who they know they're going to give 7th, 8th, and 9th inning to, and when you got Hader as the anchor leg on that thing, you know you're in good shape. I think they've done a really good job. That's why they're running away with the Central Division right now, and now they're priming themselves for their playoff run. In Milwaukee, they think, you said it yesterday, if Yelich can start going offensively, and he scored the game's first run, by the way.
Yeah, they set the tone in the first inning.
You know, if he gets going, look out. This is a team. This is a team to be reckoned with. And you're right. Nobody thinks about the Brewers.
Nobody.
Flyover country, center of America. They're not even the biggest name in that division.
No.
And everyone thinks the Cardinals are going to be good. Everyone thinks, oh, you got the Reds maybe going to be the team to watch. The Cubs were supposed to be that team that was really good. Milwaukee just keeps chugging along. The only thing that gets in their way in the playoffs, they might be the National League Oakland A's. You know, the Oakland A's always, they're making the playoffs, but somehow, some way, you know they're going to get their butts kicked, and they're not going to make it to the ALCS.
Right.
Well, in the NLCS, it's the same thing with the Brew Crew. Maybe it's a team that's just good enough to be in the playoffs, but they don't get there. But maybe this is their year. Maybe.
You know what, though? People forget a couple years ago that they had a hell of a run.
Yeah.
Had a hell of a run.
Heck yeah.
What was it, 2019, I believe?
They were good.
They were good. I believe they made the NLCS. I could be wrong there.
Was that the Yelich MVP year, or was he 18?
That was the Yelich MVP year.
Okay.
Actually, they lost the wild card game that year to Washington. They had beat the Cubs in the wild card to play Washington in the wild card.
They had to win in Wrigley Field.
Yeah, they had to win in Wrigley Field, and they ended up losing to Washington. Strasburg got the win. Hader got the loss of that game. He got the loss. Now, 2018, you're looking at the Brew Crew here. They made the postseason again.
Yep.
This is a team that's making the postseason. They played oh, wow. They actually made it to Game 7 against the Dodgers.
Yep.
They're in Game 7 in the LCS against the Dodgers and lost Game 7 to the Dodgers. So this team has been here before. The Brewers are smelling it just like all these other teams here. So the Brewers are for real. We'll see if the Giants can bounce back. We have no idea who's going to pitch today for the Giants. Could be another bullpen game. Could be a Sammy Long day. Could be an Alvarez day. Could be a Jay Jackson day.
Didn't Sammy just give you 4 2/3 in Atlanta a couple days ago?
He did. Get that elbow ready, son.
Yeah.
Get that arm. Hopefully you've been in ice.
Rub some dirt on it.
Let's go.
You got to get ready. And you're right, though. That's you know what? That's the thing about this team, though. Haven't they earned our trust to say they can get through these bumps? Haven't they earned, with the way they have played and the way they have doctored their lineup and the way they have patched it together, to continue to have the best record in the game? Haven't they earned our trust to say, you know what? I think you guys can get through this incredible stretch.
Right.
Sammy Long did you solid by going 4 2/3. That allowed you to use as many pitchers as you did out of the pen yesterday because you didn't have to expose them in the game the previous day. So you were able to stay in the game. Listen, losing 3-1, you don't want to. Listen, you don't feel good about losing, but at least you see the formula that they went with to stay in the game. They gave themselves a chance to be in the game, unlike Sunday.
So when you look at the Giants yesterday and some of the hard hit balls, you kept hearing it on the broadcast. Man, they've hit the ball really hard. They just hit it right at people. What does that mean to you, Coach? Do you just laugh that off?
You're unlucky. You know, the shift is changing everything in Major League Baseball. Guys can hit the ball 115 miles an hour. It doesn't matter. If you hit it at somebody or a defensive player makes a great play, it doesn't. It's just a nice thing to talk about. Look how hard he hit the ball. You know what? How many times do you see little bloops, little bat handle, little creepers get through? It's a line drive and a box score. Same thing with an out, man. You can hit it as hard. You can hit it on the screws.
Oh, man.
In fact, the guy hit it. That's right. In the same 7th inning, guy hit it on the screws and right at the left fielder to finish the inning. So, you know, I think it's neat to talk about, but in the end, baseball's it's a game of luck.
So Trey Lance, real quick, because we will get to Gabe's World at 6:30. Dr. Nirav Pandya, he's going to join us at 6:45 to talk about Trey Lance's injury. Who knew, Coles? We were watching in the green room with 11 seconds left.
Yep.
Somebody runs the wrong route. He throws it away. Trey Lance, that is. That's who he is. And he has a chip bone in his index finger.
Or did he make a misread? Are they trying to protect him on the telecast?
Come on.
Maybe they're protecting him a little, but you go with your theory. Whatever you think you want to go with, my friend.
Come on, Colsey. You would have been in the booth saying, oh, that Charlie Warner, you got to run out, son. What are you doing? Get on the same page as your rookie quarterback.
So true.
Trey Lance. Trey Lance chips a bone in his right index finger. Chips and bone in his right index finger. 49ers say he's going to be out for 7 days. Throwing head. 7 days for this
chip?
injury?
7
chip?
days?
Well, how big is the chip? I don't know.
My question is, how are you going to be able to grip that football?
I don't know.
Right? What do you do with that chip when it's sitting in your hand? Do you have to have surgery? Do you have to have it removed? Do you have to have it stapled on?
Is it a microchip?
Is it a microchip? What's the difference?
I don't know what the difference is. Is it a hangnail? What is going on with that finger? But Trey Lance got blitzed by a linebacker from the Raiders, and his finger hit the helmet of that Raider linebacker with 11 seconds left in the first half, and he kept shaking that head. So
is he
Trey
made of
Lance,
balsa wood? He's made of balsa wood. Maybe he's not. He's a big, strong guy. Maybe he's not as tough as you think, my man.
Here you go.
The helmet to the hand is so painful, though, if you've ever had that before, because guys are aiming for your hand straight up to make you fumble the football. And trust me, as a scout team running back, when I was the practice for the defense, I got tackled a lot, and I got a lot of helmets to the fingers. It hurts, man. Scout team, baby.
That's good.
Hey, I've
Big
got a
old
lot of
scout team.
Hey, being the third string tight end and the second string outside linebacker, I took a lot of hits too. It was basically a hitting dummy in high school. I took a lot of fingers, a lot of helmets to the fingers. Not nice, Coles. Nice.
How much time did you have to miss? Because Trey's going to miss about a week. Here's my question, though. Is there any reason to play him in Detroit or in Philadelphia, knowing that the guy has some kind of chip fracture going on in his throwing hand?
I mean, you should be able to beat Detroit without Trey Lance.
Should be able to beat a lot of teams. Detroit's one of the worst teams in the football.
You should be able to beat Detroit without Trey Lance.
Well,
we'll see.
I don't think there's any need to rush him back. And if you're going to get an injury to a guy, and I don't want him to get hurt at all. I hope he ends up being great. I just don't think this is the year he's great. There's no way you go 2-quarterback system coming up in week 1 or week 2.
Well, that also means you may have to keep Nate Sudfeld.
You're keeping Nate Sudfeld. You paid him. You're going to keep him. He's going to be the third guy.
Oh, God.
He's got guaranteed cake.
Yeah, just let him sit on the practice squad.
That's
P
fine.
Squad. I mean, this guy shouldn't be on the active roster anyway. We're going to do Gabe's Word on the other side. Dr. Narab Pandya of UCSF. He's going to break down Trey Lance's injury to his right index finger, a chip in his finger. What the heck does that mean? Is it going to be out longer than 7 days? It's on his throwing hand. We're going to figure out. We're going to dig deeper into this Trey Lance injury right here on the roast. It's Coles. It's Bonte. We're having a lot of fun. And as always, the Morning Roast Twitch brought to you by Xfinity and Games World coming up on the game, brought to you by MB Jesse Painting. In your business, high-rise or HOA in need of quality painting now that teams are returning to offices. MB Jesse Painting offers the most trusted painting services in the Bay Area, completing projects on time. Get a free quote today from the Bay Area's painting experts at mbjesse.com.
Don't miss a second.
How many Emmys you got, Coles?
3.
Damn.
I got 3. I got 3.
How many times do you shine them up a year?
You know, it's so funny you say that. I'm actually embarrassed that I have them. So they're just like in the back room or something like that.
Why are you embarrassed about them?
I don't know. I'm not. I know a lot of people work really hard at their brand and talking about what awards they get and where they go and do things. I almost bring it up as a mocking of myself.
Yes.
On them. I'm somewhat like you'll have guests over to the house and then if they end up in an office or something at some point, they see them and then they always want to know about it. And I'm like, really, it was. I don't know. I didn't feel like I did anything. I just kind of got it. You know what I mean? You're just doing your job, having fun. You and I kind of have the same opinion of what we do for a living. This is like the golden goose. Like, don't tell anybody, but we have the coolest jobs in America. Exactly. Don't let anyone know. So there shouldn't, I remember I would come home and say to my wife, my happy place is going to work. I have no job-related stress. I love going to NBC. I love coming here to 95.7 The Game because I just get to jack around and talk about sports. Coming home, that's some stressful times, everybody. That's the real world. But we live in a good life, so I don't do it for awards.
Yeah, that's when the wifey hands me the baby. He's like, hey, daddy duty. Yeah. Hey, oh, by the way, she's pooping in her diapers. Go do that.
Oops.
Hey, she may need a walk. It's bottle time. Oh, she wants her snack. Oh, she wants this. Hey, watch her. She's crawling. That's when it real works.
Yep, exactly.
No doubt. This is the ultimate escape. Don't forget, this segment is presented by Golden State Lumber. Open from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday with some locations open on a Saturday. Visit GoldenStateLumber.com for more information and download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game to get breaking news updates as well as links to the top interviews and best moments on the game. Powered by DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified. We got a big trade, Coles.
What?
Big trade.
Wait a minute.
Big trade with the 49ers.
Do we need a sounder? Is this a breaking news sounder?
I don't think we need a sounder.
Oh,
for this
okay.
one. The Niners are sending Jonas Griffith, and a 2022 7th-round pick to the Denver Broncos for a 2022 6th-round pick and a 2023 7th-round pick.
Woo!
Jonas Griffith, we hardly knew you, number 53.
Yeah, the era is over. So we'll see you on the faithful mile. You know, we're going to have your jersey up there. And you know what is interesting is that he goes to Denver, and that's a place where Vic Fangio funnels his defenses towards linebackers. So you wonder if he might pop a little bit with the Denver Broncos, and some people with the 49ers, at least fans, might say, what are we doing? What are we doing giving away a guy like that? He's making, look at all the tackles he's making. It's the Vic Fangio system. Yeah. Linebackers make tackles.
They do.
In Vic Fangio's system.
Yeah, that's a good point there. And Griffith did make some plays early on in the preseason. Number 53 flash. So Niners send him away for a 6th-round pick and a 7th-round pick.
It's always Navarro Bowman to me.
Griffith.
5'3".
Yeah, 5'3". He was supposed to fill the shoes. And Navarro Bowman. Did not happen. Griffith, we hardly knew you. He's going to Denver here as we take a look at all the cuts that will be made today. Everybody's got to cut down to 53. You see a lot of players getting cut as well. Hard Knocks. I was watching Hard Knocks with the Cowboys, and the quarterback, Brad Danucci, he threw like 3 picks and a half. He got cut today. It's like there's no way he's making a roster for the Dallas Cowboys. But we'll talk football a little bit later. It's time to get the Gabe's World at the Giants. Lost to the Brew Crew yesterday, 3-1.
I think we'll go with a little Bohemian Rhapsody, gentlemen.
Good call.
When it comes to Gabe Kapler, anything goes.
First of all, I think pressure is always a good thing. The brightest lights can sometimes bring out the best performance.
Now he's been ejected. Kapler's been ejected by Joe West.
Panda costumes and baby giraffes and all of the fans of San Francisco.
Gabe Kapler's 100% right. Kapler launches one. Fair foul. It's gone! Gabe Kapler has won it!
It's time for Gabe's World.
Gabe's World, the manager of the Giants. Giants remain in first place in the National League West. They're only up 1 game on the LA Dodgers after the Dodgers beat the Braves 5-3. Last night's game, the Giants come all the way from Atlanta. Big East Coast trip, 6 games on the East Coast, 3 at the Cali against the A's. They come back home to take on the Brewers and the Dodgers for 7. Here's what Gabe Kapler had to say about last night's loss to the Brew Crew.
I mean, it's easier to touch on what we just saw, obviously, and Burns was as good as he normally is. He's one of the top 2 or 3 starting pitchers in baseball. And then we faced, three of the better relievers in baseball. And the bottom line is, Susan, they just shut us down. We weren't able to get anything going. And when we were able to get a rally here or there, we weren't able to capitalize at the end. We did take some good swings. I thought Ruff's ball was blistered to left field. I thought Lamont Wade had some great at-bats. Brent Belt had some great at-bats. But we just weren't really able to get anything going like we normally are. And a team that threw some good arms at us beat us tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Burns, we just saw on our screen here, had an RBI single in the second half.
That's
he did
the
it
gut
all.
Punch. That's the gut punch.
That's the gut punch in the top of the second to give them a 2-0 lead there. Kapler's right. They couldn't get anything going. Burns was throwing gas. Williams was throwing gas. Hader, you see the ball come out of his hands, out of that left hand. It's nothing but electricity. Bullpen looks exhausted. I mean, look, they did what they had to do to hold the Brewers to 3 runs. You held the Brewers to 3 runs. That's not bad. But how many times did he go to this bullpen? This is what I'm talking about, Coles. When these starters are going 5 to 6 innings, and you're asking your pen, hey, get me 9 outs. Get me 12 outs. That's too much.
No, that's the way the game is now, Bonte. You know that. George of the Jungle set me straight this morning. We got off on the wrong foot. A 3-1 loss, and you're starting to feel bad. George of the Jungle got me right. Here's the deal. That's the way the game is played today. You're not getting a guy who's going to get on the bump and go 7 or 8, and then you hand the ball to Brian Wilson and say, give me 3 outs, and then cross your arms and look up to the heavens. That's not the way the game is played anymore. Hey, Madison Bumgarner ain't coming through those doors in center field and walking in and pitching 8 and getting me into the late innings. It's just not happening. So you got to have a bullpen who's going to gut it out and grit it out, and that's exactly what the Giants have.
Can't do this every day, every single day. Every day. You need some horses.
You don't got that. You
got
don't
Webb.
got horses.
You got Webb. You need Gosman tomorrow night. Tomorrow night when Gosman pitches, I need at least 6. At least 6. That's the minimum.
I can ask you, say, you know what? 6 I'll give you, but don't start thinking 7, and don't dare think you're going to ever get 8 innings out of it.
Can I get 7? Is that too much to ask? Is that really too much to ask?
It is too much to ask.
I'm looking down at Dodger Stadium, and I'm saying they got 3 guys who could give you 7. 3. The Brewers. Burns with 6 yesterday. I'm saying, damn. Maybe he could have won another inning. He only had 93 pitches.
You know, I'm going to see if I could look up complete games for the Giants this year.
They've got 2.
There you go.
Got 2. DeSclafani had 1, and I believe
the other one. Both of them.
Does he have both of them?
Let me double check.
He may have both of them, actually. Johnny Cueto got close, but he got knocked out in the 9th inning.
I'm looking, but we have dial-up here. We're used dial-up here at 95.7
AOL? No, that's in your crib, Coles. Yeah, that's in your crib. You still got your AOL screen name? iMessage? I am? AIM?
I'm using, exactly. I also use a pocket beeper.
You probably do have a beeper. Probably do have a beeper. Big old cell phone as well. But I believe, I could be wrong. 2 complete games. Look.
DeSclafani's got both.
He's got both of them. All right, DeSclafani. And DeSclafani got touched up Sunday in Atlanta. And we know he's been touched up by the Dodgers all season long. He's going to have to go against the Dodgers this weekend. Look, I'm not here. I know people are just getting in their cars. They're sipping their Timeless coffees. By the way, shout out to Timeless Coffee. They got a new store now.
I had their espresso. I had their espresso beans. Those are good beans. I make mine at home, and those are good beans. So I'm just letting you know. I've had the product.
You had the Timeless,
and I'm a fan.
So they have a new shop at 17th and Webster in downtown Oakland. Let me tell you, look, I love the coffee. Don't get me wrong. But you see my cheeks here, Coles. I love food, and food loves me.
You're rosy.
Rosy.
Look at you.
The pastries, the savories, the chicken and sausage empanada, I'm telling you.
Seriously?
Oh, you put it in the microwave for like 15 seconds.
Seriously?
Or if you want to put it in the oven for a minute.
We got to bring those out.
The pesto cheddar roll. I love the pesto cheddar roll.
That sounds
delightful. And, of course, the strawberry shortcake. Freshest strawberries in the bay.
Love it.
I mean, Timeless. Get you some Timeless coffee. And I needed Timeless coffee watching the Giants swing and miss yesterday all night long here. And look, George of the Jungle, as everybody gets in their cars and they're sipping and they're listening to Coles and I'm not all doom and gloom about the Giants, but I'm a truth teller. And the truth is, this could be a problematic week for the Giants before they go on the road to Colorado and Chicago and take on the Cubbies. Like, Langford, am I wrong to be a little bit concerned?
Well, yeah, but also, like before, I wish George of the Jungle would have called in before Coach just decided to open the show and rip my take right off the bat. I think it was, as a matter of fact, it was the first thing he said was that I don't know what Steven was talking about at 5 a.m. coming off all positive from
5
that
o'clock.
game.
5 o'clock. It's 6:40.
Gotcha.
Okay, 5 o'clock.
Gotcha.
Okay, 5 o'clock.
Gotcha.
Wake up,
But
nice guy.
I will say this, though, because the reason for me why I do think yesterday's game I came
Show's
away
over
with,
at 10.
with more of a positive attitude yesterday
Make your point.
was because the Brewers threw everything they could at them with Corbin Burns and those 3 guys in the 7th, 8th, and the 9th innings. That's the best you're going to get from the Brewers, and the Giants still actually had a chance. And if you go forward in a playoff series with this team, you could expect those 3 guys, or 4 guys, excuse me, to pitch against the Giants. And I think in other possible games, with those, bad luck hits, they might have some luck with them. So I came away from that game feeling okay last night.
See, you guys are all, I don't live my life like that. I don't live my,
What, you mean like Steven changing his take from I feel good to just now he goes 4 minutes and tells me I feel okay?
I mean.
You mean changing your take? Yeah, that's not how you live? I was just checking, Steven.
You're basically asking me to take a moral victory out of last night. So, you know what? It's a moral victory.
I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I like to live my life on the positive side with something that's not that serious in sports.
Hey, look. I am very, very positive about this Giants team. They've kept me happy throughout the summer. But now I see the big boys in town, the Brew Crew and the Dodgers. And I'm saying to myself, boy, you got all these power arms. Scherzer, Walker Buehler, Burns, Woodruff. Bro, I mean, that bullpen in Milwaukee, it's just dirty. It's just filthy. I'm sorry, Cozy. I just, hey, we hit some hard-hit balls at some outfielders. Oh, it's okay. You score 1 run. The name of the game is score. I don't care about, the velocity off the bat. He hit that ball 114 miles per hour. It was an out. I don't care how fast or slow it was, Coz. That's the world I live in. That's all.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to ask Giants fan this question because we're sitting here and we're looking at it through the lens of, here come the Brewers. Here come the Dodgers. The Giants have the best record in baseball and have had the best record in baseball for the bulk of the season. It hasn't been close. They've been running away. Are the Brewers saying, we got to go to San Francisco? Are the Dodgers saying, we've been smoking hot. We traded for Scherzer and Turner, and we're beating everyone, and I'm still looking up at the San Francisco Giants. That's my question. If you're a Giants fan, are you looking at it through the prism of, dang it, here come the Brew Crew. Dang it, here come the Dodgers. Or are you saying, hey, we're on top of the Big Rock Candy Mountain. But Brewers should be saying, I got to go to the Bay. Dodgers should be saying, oh, my God, I played the best I can do, and I still got to go to the Bay.
Let me tell you what the Brewers are saying. We blew 2 out of 3 against the Giants out at our park in Miller Park. We blew 2 extra inning games. We got these jokers, and we didn't have Josh Hader. We didn't have Josh Hader in that one. 888-957-9570. Line them up. I want to hear your takes on the Giants. Dr. Nirav Pandya will join us in a second here to discuss Trey Lance's injury to his right index finger. And don't forget, Saturday, September 18th, this is going to be a lot of fun. Bellator MMA returns to SAP Center in San Jose. It's the long-awaited promotional debut of Yoel Romero when he takes on former world champion Phil Davis in a light heavyweight battle. The Soldier of God squares off with Mr. Wonderful Saturday, September 18th at SAP Center in San Jose. For tickets, go to Ticketmaster.com.
Afternoons with Damon Ratto.
So don't think that I got a memory of an elephant, baby.
Oh, she's tweeting too. She's tweeting.
Because you don't tweet anything anyone wants to read. You never say anything when you tweet.
Man, she rattled you. She rattled your cage, man.
What did I talk about? Who's the number one rookie quarterback? Did anyone see the numbers?
Trey Lance.
Mac Jones?
Oh, Mac Jones.
And his numbers were better than what rookie quarterback?
Mac Jones.
Patrick Mahomes.
I would bet you a steak dinner right now that Trey Lance has a better career than Mac Jones.
Oh, that steak dinner's coming in like 15 years. Okay?
Yeah.
That's a long time away.
I don't care. Hopefully I'm around in 15 years.
I agree. Yeah, I can't make that bet. I can't guarantee I'll be around to cash in on that bet or pay off.
Let's go on to the phone lines, man. Here on the Morning Roast, brought to you by Timeless Coffee. Shout out to everybody on Twitch and YouTube this morning as well. I see you on Twitch. Brought to you by Xfinity. Dr. Nirav Pandya. What is this Curly's got on here? I know he's a doctor at UCSF. I don't know what the hell Curly has here. You've got all these titles, Doc. What's going on?
Hey guys, how you doing, Bonte and Coach? Nice to be on with you guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. We want to get you on here. You're our doctor. You're our morning roast doctor. You know that. And there's all these injuries that we can get into, a plethora of injuries in the Bay Area, but none bigger right now than possibly Trey Lance with a chip in his right index finger. What is going on with this finger right now before we get to the timetable on how long he's going to be out?
Yeah, this is a common injury we see in football players, and initial reports after the game he had jammed his finger. And what can happen, basically what a jammed finger is you stretch out some of the ligaments and tissue on your finger. If it gets jammed a little bit more, sometimes it can pull a little piece of bone off, and then even worse, then the finger can dislocate. So this is kind of a more severe jammed finger, but in terms of long-term issues, I'm not concerned at all. He should be back playing pretty soon.
Doctor, when they talk about a microchip, does that mean there's actually bone floating inside the skin in the finger, or is that a technical term that you guys define differently?
It's a little bit of a technical term. So I mean, it basically means is that a little small piece of bone is kind of pulled off a little bit, but it's not floating around. So most of the time in these kind of injuries, it's more just a little piece has been pulled off, but it's still kind of covered with a lot of different tissue. So there's not something floating around. And that usually is why they can get back that quickly.
When you talk about this injury here, can he do anything for the next week with this type of injury on his throwing hand?
Yeah, so I think the number one thing is exactly what they're doing is taking a week off, because the things that will kind of prevent getting back to play really quickly, the finger gets stiff and it gets swollen. So you're basically not allowing him to practice working on mobility, but also keeping it splinted. So in between those times that you're not basically using the finger, you can help promote some of that swelling to go down. So it's really just resting it. I mean, that's the main thing in icing and doing some of those basic things whenever we get an injury.
Doc, is this something where even if it heals, you're susceptible to another hit there and it becomes weakened and so it can happen again? Or is this a healing process that it's back to being brand new?
Yeah, it's a great question. The first 4 to 6 weeks, because, even though they're saying he's going to be better in a week, it takes about 6 weeks total for the bone to heal. So I think the first, 4 to 5 weeks of the season is where you're a little bit worried about it getting injured again if he gets another impact. But if he can make it through that period of time, if he's not playing because Jimmy G is starting, then you're not really worried about it after that 6 week mark and no issues long term. It's getting hit maybe week 2, week 3 where you worry about it.
Dr. Nirav Pandya here on the Morning Russell Coles of Bonte on 95.7 The Game. Of course, he's a orthopedic surgeon at UCSF. No doubt about it. He knows about all these injuries here. Speaking of which, the two quarterbacks are probably out the window week 1 against Detroit, much to Coles' liking here. I want to ask you about Klay Thompson, though. Let's go over to the hardwood, because Klay Thompson has been seen on the hardwood running back and forth from the one corner to the other corner, bombing threes here. What did you see from Klay, and what did you think about that timetable that Ramona Shelburne of ESPN floated out there, Doc, about Klay Thompson being back Christmas Day this year against the Phoenix Suns?
I think that's the exact time frame based on kind of all the milestones he's hitting. I mean, every kind of couple months, he puts out an Instagram video, and you see him hitting exactly what you'd expect at this time point. We know right around now he's at 9 months after surgery. He's doing what you'd expect on the court, shooting baskets. He's elevating really well. So from what he's posting on social media, it seems like it's great. But I think we have to remember he hasn't played basketball for more than 2 years, coming off 2 major injuries. So these extra 2 to 3 months, even though his Achilles and ACL are healed, are really important to make sure he doesn't get that second injury. And when he gets back, he's playing well. No one wants to see him out there 9 to 10 months, then he hurts a hamstring like Durant did early in his return, or has another injury. So I think that's perfect. Right at a year, and then slowly ramp him up so we'll get him ready for the playoffs.
You know, that's interesting. I'm glad you bring it up the way you did as far as, yeah, he's got these 2 injuries he wants to come back from, but you don't want something else to occur because of how you utilize him. Is it best to put guys on minutes restrictions, or is it best to have a program where you're not going to have him play back-to-back games? I know every case is of itself, but is there a basic program that doctors would want to see athletes go through in order to make sure that the healing is done at the right pace once they become competitive?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a combination of both. I mean, minutes per game, you definitely want to decrease that. And then I think back-to-back games, I think that's definitely something I anticipate the Warriors would do, because his recovery from playing a game the night before, then everything's going to be sore. His mechanics may be off. So I think in general, when we look at players and they come back from Achilles, you see less minutes per game, less games started, less back-to-back games. So I think that's the way we can really preserve him, because it's really that second season where we'll hopefully see 100% Clay back. But hopefully if we get him at 75, 80%, you do those things, he can be effective with the players around him.
Doc, everybody's forgot about James Wiseman and his torn meniscus. Where do you think he's at right now? And when do you think he'll be ready for the Warriors to come back? Will it be training camp? Will it be the season opener against the Lakers? What about old James Wiseman, who's going to enter his second year in the league?
I know, a lot of people we concentrate on Clay. We forget about him. And I think, in general, his surgery was mid-April. Usually look around 6 months for a meniscus repair. So that puts him right around training camp beginning of the season. And when you think about those two players, I actually get a little bit more concerned about Wiseman and how his first couple months will be. Because when Achilles is healed, it's healed. You may be a little bit weak, have a little bit of soreness. But how that knee responds when he's first coming back, month 1, month 2, can be a little variable from player to player. So I think he'll be ready to go. And I think just like with Clay, they'll kind of manage some of the minutes. But there is some risk of, could there be a little swelling? Could there be a little soreness? Could the first couple months be a little bumpy? That's always a possibility. But with a younger player, hopefully that we won't see that.
Younger player, but James Wiseman's a bigger player. Is it different, the healing process on a meniscus for a big versus maybe a guard who uses his quickness more than a big would?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, especially with the kind of meniscus injury they talked about, a lateral meniscus, with a bigger player coming down on that night in and night out, and then elevating as well too. I think that's the important thing. Kind of what we saw with Zion with his knee issues. You get a lot of weight, you get a lot of power, you're being explosive. That can play a lot more strain on the meniscus. So it's more prone, even if he might be ready at 6 months, to get a little bit of irritation, get that tendonitis, from game to game.
Wow, give my man Dr. Narav Pandya a follow on Twitter, one of the best follows on there. He will tweet about all the injuries, no doubt about it. Blesses us here on the Morning Roast this morning. Doc, always good to talk to you. We'll do it again soon, my friend.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
See you, Doc.
Anytime. Dr. Narav Pandya of UCSF.
I was going to ask him a question. I had C6, C7 vertebrae removed. Have a couple of discs put in. I've got some issues with the shoulder.
You should have asked him about it.
I was going to ask him about it.
Why didn't you do it?
I didn't know if this would be the right forum.
No, it's all good.
I've been having some issues with the
range of motion.
Yeah, a little range. Yeah, exactly. Range of motion. I got some,
shoulder.
and it's been going on for a while. Some pain. Maybe it's causing a little bit of a slice in my golf game. A little strength. I've lost a lot of strength. I might have had some nerve damage.
I mean, you're an OG now. That's what happens to OGs.
It didn't hurt you enough to keep from flexing your muscles at us behind the glass after you asked a question.
Is that what you did?
Did you hear the doctor? That's an excellent question.
I did hear the doctor.
Hey, Langford, is that when he straightened his shoulder right then and there? And he said, my golf game, actually when he was flexing so hard, and he pops him, he's like, ooh, I gotta slow down here.
3 Emmys there, Bonte.
3 Emmys.
Just letting you know.
3 Emmys.
Doesn't happen by accident, bro.
What were the Emmys for?
I don't know. The work on the parade.
I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Now that I'm at NBC Sports Bay Area, I'm going to ask somebody, how do you get that Emmy, bro? So my girl, she hung up some award. No, I'm like you, right?
Yeah.
I had these awards from like sports writing, journalism camps or whatnot. Yep. And my girl just put them up on the wall with the diploma and stuff. And I was like, it had so much dust on it because all I did was throw it under the bed.
Yep.
I just threw it under the bed. It's like, it does nothing for me.
Everyone's on Zooms nowadays. You can see the people who are real D's and who aren't. The ones who have like their one Emmy behind them.
Right behind
It's always like, when you're on the Zoom call, but he's got his Emmy right behind him next to like a signed football or something. Right. And the ones out there who are trying to flex.
I've done every Zoom basically from my daughter's room, from the nursery.
Oh, look at that.
Crib, purple paint on the wall.
That's cool.
Little stuffed animals. People are like, you're really doing interviews from your daughter's room? Yeah, why not?
That's
It's a nice, quiet place.
Exactly.
There's no D in that, right?
No, not at all. That's being real, is what that is.
I like that.
You know, you're in there. You're in there with your daughter. There's no greater thing you could possibly do is connect with your daughter.
Exactly. All right, Dr. Narad Pandya talked about all these injuries. The James Wiseman stuff has me concerned.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I was just looking it up. Do you know how? He's 7 foot. Do you know how much he weighs?
It's probably about 250.
You're close. He's at 240. That's a lot of weight to pound down on a knee for a young guy. And here's the other thing with young players. James Wiseman clearly is talented.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could end up being the best player out of that draft.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So he's got skill. But his entire life, he's probably been the best player on his team and the best player at the camp he goes to. And he's always used to things going his way. This is the first time he's had to get over a hurdle of an injury. He's not sore. He didn't get hit by a bigger player when he was young.
Right.
He got injured. Getting over that mentally is a huge hurdle for a 20-year-old young man, and that'll be, to me, one of the bigger hurdles that he'll have to get over.
Especially after an up-and-down rookie season. Now, people say up and down, Bonte. Up and down rookie year. He averaged 11.5 points per game in just over 20 minutes. And nearly 6 rebounds. I get all that. Trust me, I'm a big Wiseman fan. I'm glad the Warriors haven't traded him.
I agree.
I don't want to see them trade him at all.
Wiseman.
I'm pro Wiseman as well, but thinking about what he went through at Memphis, only playing 3 college games for a total of 69 minutes, waiting it out. Then you come to training camp, you get COVID, you can't go to training camp, then you play, you come back on the bench, you have a shoulder injury, you had the wrist injury, that you suffered against the Pistons last season. Just a lot of things went against James Wiseman, and now you got to deal with the meniscus, so you hope he's good. The news on Klay Thompson, I was shocked when I heard Christmas Day. I was like, there's no way he's back on Christmas Day. In Phoenix, in the Valley of the Sun, wow, what a return that would be for Klay, even though it would be on the road. But Doc said he's not worried about Klay.
Yeah, I know. That's the part. I was encouraged tremendously because I am more concerned with an Achilles injury and not playing for the 2 years and trying to come back and just where his quickness will be. Where will his lateral movement be? You know, he's such an important defensive piece to the Golden State Warriors. Well, it's not just because he's a big shot blocker. It's because he's out on the perimeter and he's busting his tail and he's defending the ball. Will you be able to have the same type of fast twitch when you've got that? But according to the doctor, once that heals, the way they do the procedures now, the way the tear was, he can heal. So that's a very encouraging thing to hear.
That is. But, I mean, in the West, I don't know if even with all that said, I still don't know if I want him defending Donovan Mitchell, Damian Lillard, Jamal
Sorry,
Murray
baby,
when he
that's
comes
your
back.
job.
I mean, you
Sorry,
got some
baby.
Luka Doncic. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, baby.
There's some big boys in the Western Conference. I don't know if I want Klay doing that night in and night out, but it sounds like he's not going to play back-to-backs either. You are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco and Odyssey Station. Trey Lance, this is funny. 510. Y'all really asked the doctor about an injury to the backup quarterback. Hilarious. He will be fine. He'll fine holding up the clipboard.
Wow. See, I'm not that dismissive about Trey Lance. I think eventually he's going to be really good. I just don't think he has anything to do with this team in 2021. Okay? That's just the way it is.
Shanahan will get him in this offense.
That's great.
Because when Shanahan saw the preseason, it said, wow. Haven't seen Jimmy do that. The RPOs, the zone reads, the way things open up. I get it. Jimmy's going to start. Look, with that said, Jimmy Garoppolo, now that Trey Lance is out for a week, this is perfect for Jimmy. The Niners have tried to get you out of here for the last 2 years. They've basically run you out of town. They flirted with every quarterback. They drafted your replacement. Here you are making $26 million and you're the lame duck quarterback. But you know what Jimmy could go out there and do, just like 2019? Because you're right. 2019, he played okay against Tampa, played okay against Cincinnati, but he was 2-0 going into that Pittsburgh Steelers game. And next thing you know, they stole that game despite turning the ball over 5 times, and they were 3-0 going into a bye week that year. Jimmy has the chance to go 2-0 right off the bat and shut everybody up and throw up some monster numbers against Detroit and Philadelphia. This is like, it was set up perfect for Trey Lance to get the start if you wanted a soft landing. Well, this sets up perfectly for Jimmy Garoppolo to take the reins and say, hey, I'm QB1 of the San Francisco 49ers. I'm the QB1. Since he won't do it at a podium, since he's all nice and saying, oh, yeah, the dual threat quarterback, I liked it. And, I wasn't out of rhythm because we knew what was going on. He can go out there in the first 2 weeks of the season to say, this is my job. I'm not coming off the football field.
And to piggyback that from the 408, Trey Lance looked good against the backups.
So did Mac Jones.
Am I texting the show now? Am I on the show on the air, or am I texting the show?
I think you are.
Was that a text from me?
Yeah, I think your burner account. You had a burner account.
I do. I'm like Choir Sultan. I'm the exact same thing.
I swear there was a tweet yesterday I got, and I was like, this is Coles' burner.
I'm Delaware Crooks. That's the corner of that. I'm just like KD, man. Choir Sultan, I'm Delaware Crooks. Those are the corners where I live.
Don't forget to download the Odyssey app. Discover hundreds of new exclusive music stations available now for sports and music fans, by sports and music fans. Check out Tailgate Crashers. Crack a gold one and get game day ready with tunes from all your country faves. The new Odyssey exclusive stations on the Odyssey app, brought to you in part by Macy's, Geico, and Coke Zero Sugar. So, Langford, I know you wanted to get in here.
No, I was just going to say, I wonder if Coze's burner is like, with Adam Schefter, how there's those fake accounts with Adarn Scheffner, and they put the fake check marks next to it. I wonder if there's like a Jin Kozenor or something out there.
Jin Kozenor.
There are a lot of like legitimate news sources that have been fooled by the fake account.
Yeah, the worst one, I can't say the name of it because the last name is dirty. Can't say it. The FCC would get us in trouble. But it's Barry. Not going to say the last name, but everyone gets fooled. First name Barry. If you follow along on Twitter and you know fake accounts, you know exactly which one I'm talking about. Yeah, there's one that always fools everybody.
I'm going to have to start looking it up. That's pretty good stuff. I know that. I know there are reputable news sources that have decided to go with some things from people who are like Adrian Wojnarowski, and they just, they spell it wrong, obviously. And then they're just lobbing. It's right at the trade deadline, and there's always a bunch of fake Woj accounts that are banging out the worst trades possible, and everyone gets up in arms. Hey, Woj just tweeted. Woj just tweeted.
Oh, the funniest thing happened. We had a guy named Connor. What was Connor's last name, Langford? Connor Smith? Was it Connor Smith? He was he was working our digital department, Coles. And this is the summer of 2017. And Andre Iguodala's at dinner with the Rockets. Mm-hmm. Then he's threatening to sign with the Rockets and the Spurs. And a fake Woj account came up. And Connor had the graphic and everything. And he goes, thank you, Andre. Signed a 5-year, $48 million deal with the Spurs. And next thing you know, I'm on my way. I remember this because I was on the way to Portland. We're going on a road trip to Portland. And I get blown up. Hey, Andre's a Spur? I was hearing from people who weren't on Twitter, Andre's a Spur? And I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? And 95.7 The Game's Twitter account was just getting handled. And I was getting blamed saying, damn, Bonte on the company dime.
Man.
Out there tweeting, trying to get clout.
Look at you. Look at you doing it.
Fake Woj accounts.
Speaking of real accounts, though, we do actually have some breaking news, and you can check this out, but we'll get to it right now.
Oh,
and this is sounder-worthy?
Brought to you by BetQL. Become a better sports bettor. Get smarter to beat the books. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today.
From Tom Pelissero of NFL Network, Ian Rappaport confirmed it. The Patriots have released Cam Newton. Sources say Mac Jones is now the starting quarterback in New England.
Oh my gosh. That may be it for Cam Newton. Wow.
Let me just say this. Why didn't we just sit at 12 and take Mac Jones?
Stop it.
We would have the answer.
Stop it. Mac Jones wouldn't be starting over Jimmy Garoppolo. Cam Newton's not Jimmy G.
Trey Lance ain't starting over Jimmy Garoppolo. As the 209 says, hey, Bonnie, I guess now Kyle can name his starter, right?
He should.
Dang. Name it.
Wow. Cam Newton released by the New England Patriots this morning.
Let me tell you, I don't
Belichick just said that Cam was progressing really, really well.
Yeah.
Something happened last week with the whole COVID thing. Something had to happen last week in practice to where Cam was out and the Patriots like, you know what, that's enough.
You think so?
It had to.
I'm a Cam Newton guy. I like Cam Newton. I don't feel good that he got released by the New England Patriots.
It doesn't feel oh, man, this ain't good.
No, I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
Who's their backup now? Because if you got a rookie in Mac Jones.
I tell you who the backup is. I think it's Brian Hoyer.
That's tough.
I think it's Brian Hoyer. Cam Newton just released, according to Tom Pelissero of NFL Network, Cam Newton just released by the New England Patriots. Mac Jones is starting at quarterback for the Patriots, the rookie out of Alabama. A lot of people was ridiculing him. He took the starting job in New England. And this is crazy because Scott Zolak, who works up there in New England, you heard what he said last week? Oh, the rap music distracts Cam Newton. He needs to, they need to stop playing.
What do you mean by that?
I don't even know. That was really dumb.
That doesn't make sense to me.
That doesn't. Belichick, man. Wow. Mac Jones, we're going to see him right away. We're going to see him right away in New England.
What does that tell you that they couldn't move him? Like they couldn't even move him to another team?
I know, right? Washington.
Give him to Washington for a 7th-round pick?
Houston has a plethora of quarterbacks.
Houston's got problems.
They got problems.
Is Houston going to trade Deshaun Watson is the biggest question. And who's going to want to take the damaged goods?
There's nobody who really, think about it. When you look at the league, Dallas, Dak. New York Giants, Daniel Jones. Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts. Washington may be the only spot in the NFL
but Cam
for
could
Cam
be a good
Newton.
backup. Like, if you're Seattle, don't you want Cam as a backup to Russell Wilson?
Absolutely. But is Cam Newton ready to accept that role?
He's going to have to, right?
Like Carmelo, remember how long it took, I know it's a different sport, but Carmelo, it took him a while. He had to sit out the year.
Right.
It was like, oh, wait, well, you know what? Cam
I don't know
Newton,
if you can do that in the NFL. He ain't going to be able to do that.
Is he going to be able to be in the locker room as a backup quarterback?
Is the throwing motion back? Because he had the shoulder issue, and that's the big thing. If he can't throw the football, then he becomes less dimensional, right? Now he's more with his legs, and he is a little bit older. He's not the same runner that he used to be. There was a time when he was a terror as a quarterback. I like Cam Newton. Yep. I would love him on my roster if I could find a place for him. He's not going to find a place here in San Francisco.
Ron Rivera, former coach of the Carolina Panthers, now coaching the Washington football team.
Yep.
Do you really believe in Ryan Fitzpatrick? Is Cam Newton the answer in Washington? Wow. 888-957-9570. Did the Niners make a mistake drafting Trey Lance over Mac Jones? I'm going there, Langford. I'm going there because this will be talked about and compared forever.
Yes.
Forever. Well, the Niners had the 12th pick. A lot of people say they could have stayed there and got Mac Jones. Now, what if New England would have jumped up and jumped to 11 or whatnot?
They got him at 15.
Who knows? Who knows what could have happened? But this is going to be compared. Like Shanahan, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Bella. These guys are linked forever.
Yep.
And now we're going to see the Mac Jones era start. The Mac Jones era will start week 1 when the Patriots, who are they playing here in week number 1? I'm looking. They're hosting the Miami Dolphins. In Tua Tagovailoa. So now you get Tua and Mac Jones going at it in week 1, where Mac Jones backed up Tua at Alabama.
Let me tell you this, gang.
Wow.
You could have sat at 12, gotten your guy Mac Jones, still had your 2 first-round picks coming up in the next couple of drafts, and traded Jimmy G to the New England Patriots for something. That's what you could have done and still gotten the quarterback of the future. Listen, I gave you the rookie quarterback rankings the other day. Mac Jones 1, Zach Wilson 2, Trevor Lawrence 3, Justin Fields 4, Trey Lance 5. Guess what? My 1, 2, and 3 are starters, everybody. My 4 and 5 are holding a clipboard. Okay? You can come to me and believe me now. Hear me now, believe me later. Believe me now, it doesn't matter. But I am going to flex by letting you know. That's the way the quarterbacks are being ranked right now. And the 49ers are 5, and their guy's got a microchip.
We got 15 hours left to Kozamore here in the Morning Roast this week.
Truth to power.
Here's what's coming up on the game, brought to you by Mimecast. We're taking your calls. 888-957-9570. Brian Baldinger will join us at 7:30. We'll get his thoughts
can't wait to
on
hear
what he
from
see. What did he see from Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Cam Newton released by the New England Patriots. Rich and Oakland will get to you on the other side. Safeguard your organization against phishing, business email compromise, and risk of ransomware. Visit Mimecast.com. That's Mimecast.com.
Don't miss a second of Damon, Ratto, and Kolsky.
Right.
Can't lie about the pastries and savories. I'm sitting here with Coles, who's been a big Mac Jones fan. Says he's the number one rookie on the board. Well, guess what? Mac Jones will start Week 1 for the New England Patriots when they take on the Miami Dolphins. Tua versus Mac. Cam Newton, just released by the New England Patriots, former MVP. Cam Newton, released by the New England Patriots this morning. That happened about 10 minutes ago. And now Mac's on the clock. Trevor Lawrence is on the clock.
Yep.
Zach Wilson's on the clock. Justin Fields is going to have to sit around for a while for Andy Dalton. It might not be too long with Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle. But Trey Lance, number 3 overall. And whether we like it or not, Mac Jones and Trey Lance are going to be linked forever. Same draft class. A lot of people have Mac Jones coming to the 49ers in the NFL draft. And a lot of Niner fans, including myself, said, no, Mac. No, Mac. We don't want Mac. We got Jimmy. He's the same. Well, Mac Jones is going to start in New England. And Coles right now, I could see him in his head running a victory lap. He's already ran 8 miles in his head in the last 5 miles. Or the last 5 minutes, I should say.
Just telling you, listen to me. It's real easy, sports fans. Listen to me. You'll be a little smarter. And then when you get together with your sports fans, you can be the king of the kill. Okay? Just go do it. Now, here's a good one from the 925. I don't know why they directed at me. Hey, Coach, Tyreek Evans won Rookie of the Year. I still think Steph was the right pick.
You're the Sacramento guy. That's why.
Right. Well, listen.
You're the Kings guy. You're like the face of the. You're like the face of the Kings.
Go ask the Kings. They did. They asked me not to be the face of the Kings. So that's not true.
When I think of Kings basketball, I think of Jim Colsimore.
Really?
I do for some reason.
That is a sad
Jerry
state.
Reynolds.
That is bad. Exactly.
That is bad.
I know, but that is true. But the point is, you've got a guy who is a rookie quarterback who is being given starts by the greatest head coach in the history of the National Football League. I think I trust Bill Belichick a lot when it comes to picking players, and he picked a darn good one right here. And all he had to do was sit around and let everyone else fight for everybody else on the board, and he ends up getting the guy. But you're absolutely right. You got Mac Jones and Tua going at it. The NFL's wants to rework the schedule.
Oh, dude.
Make sure you get that thing in prime time.
Oh, it's going prime time. I mean, you think about that game. That's a 125 kick. It's going to be competing. You get Tua versus Mac Jones in New England. You get Cleveland at Kansas City in the same slot.
Okay.
A rematch of the divisional round playoff game. That's a real good one. That's a real good one.
Yep.
You get the Packers and Saints. That's always good. And the snoozer at the 125 slot will be the Denver Broncos at the New York Giants. That'd be the snoozer.
Nope. No one will want to watch that one. That's trash. In fact, I'm not even a big fan of the New Orleans one right now, and I always like to root for. I think New Orleans, again, you don't have Drew Brees.
Right.
So is Jameis Winston going to be the answer? Is he going to be worth watching? You know what? I'd rather watch the young quarterbacks going with the New England and Miami game. Clearly, the other game, though, is the big
Kansas
one.
City,
Cleveland and Kansas. That's a killer.
That's a
good
killer.
One. Yeah,
I like
that.
That's must-see TV. Let's go to Rich in Oakland. Rich, you're on the roast with Coles and Bonte. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Good morning. So with Mac Jones, it's just so funny how Bill Belichick, man, he's really the GOAT, and we know that. And Mac Jones fell to him. And if you look at Mac Jones, I'm not a Niner fan. I've been looking at Mac Jones. I've been looking at Trey Lance every snap. And what I can see from Mac Jones, let's be honest here, he's more pro-ready. If you look at him and get in the pocket and everything, I'm not going to compare him to Brady, but he got some similarities to Brady. And it's just funny how Bill Belichick, he basically fell to his lap. So I don't know if the Niners picking Trey Lance over Mac Jones was a bad decision. I don't think so, because Trey Lance has a higher potential. But Mac Jones might end up being the best quarterback in this draft. And imagine if that happens, man. Under Bill Belichick, who knows? Who knows? But Niner fans, don't panic, because Trey Lance is going to be special, but he's not ready yet. Let's just keep it 100. He is not ready right now. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the call, Rich.
Thank you very much, Rich. You made a ton of sense right there. And it's true. You know what? I want Trey Lance to be good. He ain't there right now. Here's my issue with the Mac Jones versus Trey Lance. I think the 49ers are built to win a Super Bowl now.
Right.
Which means they need a quarterback who can play the position now.
Right.
Trey Lance can't. All right? He can't at the NFL level. Right?
I
One
disagree.
game, small college football. His whole career is played at a much slower pace. Mac Jones played at the highest level you can play on the best team you could possibly play and made some big throws. Now, he had some great receivers, right?
But you know what?
You throw for 3,000 yards with those receivers that he had.
Yeah, but
right?
you know what, Coles? You could say that about Joe Burrow. You could say that about Trevor Lawrence. You could say that about Baker Mayfield. You could say that about all these guys. I don't buy into that theory that, he played at Alabama, he had all these receivers. You still got to play at a high level. You still got to know how to read coverages.
True.
You know?
Exactly. But my greater point of that is I need a guy who can win in the next 2 or 3 years, and that's what Mac Jones can give you right now. I think Trey could end up being a better quarterback, but these first couple of years are going to be a bumpy road. It's all in how Kyle Shanahan chooses to use him. But my infrastructure for a team is ready to win now. I can't wait for Trey in 2 or 3 years.
925 saying that if Lance is in New England, he's starting week number 1. If Trey Lance is in New England. I could see that.
Did you catch my eye roll with that one?
I did, but you know what? Cam hasn't looked impressive. He hasn't looked impressive. And Cam missing those practices last week against the New York Giants in joint practices, and Mac Jones looking the way he does. Maybe the Belichick ways and Josh McDaniels are like, look, we need a pocket quarterback. We need a guy who could sit in the pocket and make plays. And I'll give Mac Jones that. I said this leading up to the draft. Mac Jones throws a hell of a deep ball.
He does.
He has a lot of touch on it. Like he throws, go back against Michigan and watch the Citrus Bowl when he got a second start ever at Alabama. He dropped back and threw that baby about 60 yards on a dime to Jerry Jeudy. Now, Trey, is he ready right now to start? I believe he says if you started him against Detroit, there would be a lot of good in that game from Trey. He needs to play. That's his biggest problem. He needs to play. The gap between Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo ain't that wide, folks.
It's massive.
It ain't that wide, folks.
It's a chasm.
No, it's not
massive.
that wide. It's not that wide.
It's massive in that Jimmy G understands NFL defenses. Trey Lance has only seen NFL defenses when they're in the quarterback room. He hasn't ducked under center and had a big, fat linebacker breathing down his neck and defenses hiding what their coverages are. He hasn't seen that yet.
Because a linebacker in the NFL hasn't seen number 5 running at him, saying, boy, I got to tackle Trey Lance.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my gosh. This guy is a bull.
Please.
Oh, by the way, if I try to tip one of his passes, he's going to break my finger because there's so much velo on the football.
Because you know what? Everyone's talking about all these passes that are getting dropped. Yeah, because he's got one pitch, fastball. If he has a little touch on the ball, he's got 9 more completions.
Yeah, no, catch the football. Again, North Dakota State, their wide receivers had no problem dropping. They caught all those passes. This is little old North Dakota State. Little old North Dakota State. Those wide receivers caught everything from Trey Lance.
They're tough up there.
Yeah, they're tough
up there.
So you're saying the guys down in Santa Clara are a little softer?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am saying that.
Man. Get some tougher receivers. Tough. I need toughness here. You got to stick them on these gloves. Catch the damn football. All of a sudden, Jimmy Garoppolo, don't even get me started on this.
Does this legitimately put pressure on the 49ers to start playing Trey Lance more? When you see 3 other guys who are starting, and here's the other thing, right? One of these guys is the last quarterback taken of the rookie quarterbacks taken, and he gets the start.
I know.
Listen, there are some teams in the National Football League that are legacy teams. The most recent legacy team, the New England Patriots. Their rookie is starting there. If I'm the San Francisco 49ers, a former legacy team that I still throw in the legacy category, and I jumped up and gave up 3 picks to get him, is there pressure to start to play him now?
That's a great question. It's a great question. If there's not pressure right now, it is definitely ratcheted up in Santa Clara to say, okay, if we sit Trey, we know we're going to have to hear from the Jim Colzerboards of the world. You drafted a guy who wasn't ready to play his rookie year while we're sitting on Mac, who's getting a year of experience. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence is getting a year of experience. Zach Wilson getting a year of experience. And you know it's just a matter of time for Justin Fields plays in Chicago. By the time the Niners go to Soldier Field Halloween.
He's in the same spot Trey Lance is, but go ahead.
But he shouldn't. I mean, that offensive line is a lot worse. Trey Lance is with the best team possible out of all those rookies. Now Mac Jones is probably second because New England has some talent. New England's not as bad as what people think.
Is that true? Because there's a text here that says, hey, listen, guaranteed they don't win more than 7 games with Mac Jones. You know what, though? I don't expect them to win the Super Bowl. Aren't they in the same division as the Buffalo Bills? The Buffalo Bills are going to mop up the floor with everyone in their division.
They should.
All right?
They should.
He's in a position where You have got to get him time. Trey Lance isn't in that position because he ain't ready to do it. Some guy texted from the 415, "Hey, Coz, your first radio job, you had no experience." Yeah, and I was awful. I was the worst country music disc jockey in the history of Silver City, New Mexico.
You were in New Mexico?
Yeah.
Damn.
I've been everywhere, bro. Everywhere.
Did you run into Walter White?
I didn't run into Walter White. Sorry. He was up in Albuquerque. I was down in Silver City. So.
Oh, Silver City, man.
Yeah. Were you working there at the time when Rat Race, the movie, was a thing, when they had to race to Silver City, New
funny
Mexico?
You say that, yeah.
$2 million or whatever it was?
I specifically saw that movie with the great John Lovitz. I saw that movie because I wanted to see them in Silver City, New Mexico, but I had long gone. I'd been long gone by then.
Oh, gotcha.
Here's how bad I was in my first radio job. My boss also owned like a store. What would you call it? They sell like washers and dryers and refrigerators.
Like appliance store.
Appliance store.
Like Freedman's Appliance.
He asked me if I wanted to be the assistant manager of the appliance store. That's how I was as a country music disc jockey.
Look, Trey Lance is not that bad as an NFL quarterback. He's not that bad.
Okay.
Shanahan's not walking up to. Well, Shanahan's not walking up to Trey Lance saying, "Hey, you want to move to tight end? Maybe we could try to do something like Jacksonville with Tim Tebow. Let's move you to tight end."
Wow.
Like, they're not doing that. They're saying Trey Lance is the future. He does a lot of good. He progresses a lot better through the defenses than you think, Coles. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Trey Lance is not far away.
Listen, I do think Trey Lance is better than Justin Fields, okay? But I think Trey Lance has a ways to go because he just hasn't seen the things you need. Again, and guys, I can't emphasize it enough. I think he's going to be fine. But the team is built to win a Super Bowl now. I need a guy who can do things now, not things that he can do in 2 or 3 years from now, because I don't know what my roster construction is going to be in 2 or 3 years.
Well, Cam Newton exits New England Colts with a $2 million signing bonus and $1.5 million guaranteed salary. Subject to offset, he's now free to sign with any team. And in a second here, we're going to bring on Brian Baldinger.
They say he breaks down plays better than anyone.
I mean, this is like Shark Week now. And you know what Baker Mayfield is? He's chum. Look at these sharks. You think you're getting away from those 4 angry sharks? That's what happens in Shark Week right there. Like, they don't care about Baker. They just want the freaking ball. It's Shark Week. It's time to eat.
They say he's the smartest man in football.
Make the read urgency. That's the name of the game right here. Urgency. Now, on it. He's on it. Touchdown. Beautiful throw.
He's our 95.7 The Game NFL insider.
I want to know Baldy's best meal the last 3 weeks.
I'll tell you what I did. I was free diving on Saturday in Fort Lauderdale in the morning, and I had my gun with me, and I got a snapper. I got a red snapper, and I cleaned that baby up, and I put that on the grill with some oil and herbs, and I ate that up before I flew to Cleveland.
He's Brian Baldinger.
Yes. When I want to talk football, I'm going to talk to Brian Baldinger. It is Shark Week in the NFL. A lot of guys getting cut. A lot of guys winning jobs. Brian Baldinger, our 95.7 The Game insider. Also catch him on NFL Network, Compass Media Networks during the season as he'll be at a stadium near you. Baldy, good morning. It is Tuesday, and we just had a dime dropped on us here from New England. Mac Jones, QB number 1 as the Patriots decide to cut Cam Newton. Your thoughts on that, Baldy?
I'm not surprised. I mean, Mac Jones was really good. He was great at Alabama. He was really good in the preseason, really efficient, knows where to go with the ball. They didn't play with a lot of their guys that they brought in. Hunter Henry wasn't out there, Janu Smith, a lot of guys that they brought in. But, people would say, well, he's going up against the Eagles' number 2 defense. Well, I don't care what defense is going up against. He's making the right reads. I'm not surprised. I mean, because now the offense we know what the offense is going to be. He's a pocket quarterback. He's not moving very much. There'll be some bootlegs, the movement, but he's going to beat you from the pocket. And, it's now – and here's the other thing, is when you draft these rookies, the day you draft them, you've got 5 years to build the team on that player with the rookie contract. And you could just do so much more. Now, not that Cam costs a lot of money. He didn't. But the clock is ticking for all these rookie quarterbacks. You got 5 years, and in some cases they're paying these guys after the 3rd year. And as soon as you pay them, you're limited by what you can do with the rest of your team.
All right. By the way, Baldy, I was watching NFL Network over the weekend. What are you pulling, like 14, 15-hour shifts every weekend? I see you in the first game and the last game every day.
Yeah, it was there was some long shifts, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I got a chance to really watch all the games and then talk about them all. So, they kind of forced me to sit there and, get my red pen out. I love to have a red pen to write all the bad things and get the black pen, for all the good things. And then you kind of look at it and you go, oh, there's a lot of red here. Oh, there's a lot of black. I mean, you can kind of start analyzing it right away.
Hey, of the 3 quarterbacks who are first-round picks, there are 5 overall, but 3 who are going to start that we know of, which one has the best opportunity to be competitive with the infrastructure of teams that they're with?
Well, I mean, I think New England's going to be a good team. I mean, you just watch them defensively just smother the Giants, number 1 offense the other night. They've completely rebuilt their team on defense. It's a brand-new defensive line. They got all their linebackers back. They lost all 4 linebackers last year, whether it was through free agency or guys like Hightower opting out. And they're going to add a bunch of new pieces in the secondary. So, I think defensively they're going to be a really good football team. And I don't know if you've seen Ramondre Stevenson run. He's 250 pounds. He's just, he's a different kind of back. They're going to be a good running football team. I think that Mac Jones steps into a team that's going to be very, very competitive right away.
Brian Baldinger here on 95.7 The Game on the Morning Roast. Coles in for Butcher. Bonze Hill here. Baldy, let's look at the 49ers now. Sunday, they run out there against the Raiders, a 2-quarterback system. We see Trey Lance coming in the game. We see Jimmy G coming out. We see Jimmy G coming back in. We see Trey Lance coming out. Now, we did some deep digging yesterday. We saw that Dan Reeves pulled this off. Now, he didn't have a lot of success as the Broncos went 0-4 with Tommy Maddox and Sean Moore alternating every single play. But are you a fan of the 2-quarterback system? How did you feel when Trey Lance is walking onto the field or running onto the field in the middle of a series?
Well, I think a lot of that was to give Detroit a lot to think about in 2 weeks. So, in the first 24 plays, Jimmy played 17, and Trey played 7. I don't expect that type of ratio, although I think the circumstances are going to dictate it. I mean, if you're 3rd and short, why wouldn't you have Trey Lance on the field and just make the defense defend all 11 players? I mean, we haven't really seen him keep it much, on any kind of options. But, he's just getting his guys right. Like, he's going to be in there for a lot of those type of plays that we have seen teams have trouble with, whether it's modern-day Lamar Jackson in Baltimore or whether it was Kaepernick, a decade ago, whatever. I mean, it's just difficult to defend, more difficult to defend. So I just think the circumstances can really dictate who's on the field right now.
Is it not just more difficult to defend, Baldy? Is it the trend that we're seeing teams go to? Are more teams comfortable with allowing their quarterback to take hits? Because it's always been that you want to prevent as many hits as possible. You don't want to see them go off to the side. But now they're exposing the quarterback. Why is that?
Well, I would not advise Jimmy to put his head down and try to bowl somebody over at the goal line. I mean, if I'm Jimmy, just take that play out. You don't need to do that. You've got a stable of running backs, and you got another quarterback that is very capable of doing it. So, I understand the competitive nature of Jimmy, but that would also can get him in trouble. I just think most teams. Aaron Rodgers was awesome last year, but most teams you've got to figure you're going to play 2 quarterbacks at some point. Indianapolis might be up there already, forced to play 2. Who knows? But you've got to get 2 ready to play. And, Kyle talked about it this week. Trey didn't play last year. He needs to play. He just does. You just don't want to, he's already rusty in some ways,
right?
From not playing. But, you got to get these guys ready to play. And the only way to do it is to put them on the field.
Baldy, what is the number one thing Trey needs to work on? As he has a chip in his finger, obviously. He's going to be out for 7 days. But what you saw in the 3 games in the preseason, a lot of good. There was some bad, no doubt about it. People talked about the touch and the velocity or whatnot. But what is the number one thing you saw, Baldy, that Trey Lance needed to improve on?
To be honest with you, he just needs to play. He just needs to see more. The more he sees, the more touch he'll throw those balls. He threw 3 touchdown passes. He should have thrown 4. We saw the drop. He ran for 1. Ran for a 2-point conversion that called back. He was really productive in the preseason. I don't care who it was against. Raiders want to leave all their starters at home. That's fine. Doesn't matter. It's about getting work, quality work. But I just think he just needs to play and just see a lot. I mean, this is it's a different game at the NFL than it was at North Dakota State. Didn't play last year. I mean, he just needs to see circumstances. He needs to see blitzes. He needs to see pre-snap. He just needs to see more. That's all. And I think it's one of the reasons why you're going to see him on the field week one. I mean, people scoffed at me, and I said, there's going to be packages for Trey Lance week one. He's just too talented not to have out there. And you can see how he fits in with the rushing attack that they have and everything that they do off the running attack. I mean, he's a good fit for what they want to do.
When you say that there could be Trey Lance packages, does that mean it's a different set of plays than you would have for Jimmy Garoppolo? If that's the case, and you're a guy who knows the line plays as well as anyone, how difficult is that for linemen to have to block one scheme maybe for one quarterback and a different scheme if you've got skills for a different quarterback?
Well, I mean, it's not difficult. I mean, you just got to block. You got to block the play. Whatever the play is. And they're well coached and they've got good players up front. So you just got to block the play. And then you're gonna prepare for all of this stuff. And so I don't think that's going to be an issue. I really don't.
Brian Baldinger here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game, breaking down the 49ers here. Other than the quarterbacks here, receivers got to catch passes, but I keep looking at the defense, and I saw your breakdown of this defensive line. Javon Kinlaw made his debut in the preseason Sunday, made some good plays. Look, when people say, man, the Niners are 10 deep at the defensive line, they're not lying, right, Baldy? I mean, they've got some hogs up front.
They have some good players. Zach Kerr's a good player. I always believed Arden Key. I don't know what happened, with the Raiders. I mean, he didn't do much there. But if you watch him coming out of LSU, like the guy takes off like he's a 747. He's a flat back. He's ready. He's running down the runway. Like he looks and he's long. I think he's going to fit in perfect. In the substitution. I've always loved Kevin Givens from the day I saw him. In the first 49er game when he was in there. You look at Jordan Willis, like that guy knows how to play the game. DJ Jones, we know, has been a good player. They've got, forget about, that's just taking that Armstead and Bose and all those guys are given. But, they've got quality players. I mean, they're going to have 8 dressed every Sunday. And they might keep 9. They might keep 10, maybe, who knows? I mean, it's just a football team right now.
All right, Baldy, I know we've moved past Trey Lance. I got one last one. So I'll rewind it a little bit. Now that we know Mac Jones is the starter with the Patriots, and that's a guy that was in some ways attached to the 49ers, how much pressure is on the 49ers to have to begin to start Trey Lance maybe sooner than the timetable would have been?
Well, I don't think there's any pressure because of that. But I said this, we have 5 quarterbacks taken in the top 15 players. We've never seen that before. But after watching all of them, they all can play. I mean, it's not like I don't think any of them should sit. Justin Fields should definitely be on the field. In fact, if you ask me, he's their best quarterback. But regardless, they can do whatever they want to do in Chicago. But, all 5 of these guys can play. And all 5 of them will play. So I don't believe there's any more pressure. I mean, we have seen Jimmy, when he's healthy, help take this team to a Super Bowl. You can't dismiss that. You can't dismiss the way he sees the field, his quick release. Like, all those things are good. I don't think there's any rush to get Trey Lance into the starting position. But as we have seen, there's going to be a way to play both.
Baldy, real quick here before we get you out of here. You mentioned how the Bears' offensive line stunk, so I don't know if Justin Fields needs to play right now behind that offensive line, man. They do look atrocious, and I got a Bears fan sitting across from me. He's crossing his fingers saying, man, I just hope this quarterback doesn't get killed.
Well, if they start Jason Peters at age 39 at left tackle, I think he's their either 5th or 6th left tackle that they have looked at this year.
Do you have a series left in you, Baldy? Because if they're going to run him out there, you got a series or 2 left in you, don't you?
I got one play. I can jack somebody up, off the field before I hurt myself. But it was not a good performance, that you want to see. They got 2 weeks to get that thing fixed up front and to figure out now. Allen Robinson didn't play and a bunch of stuff, but they're going to get tested by the Rams week 1.
There's no doubt about it. With all the tape you're watching, Baldy, how have those Zenni glasses helped you? You're working long hours, man. Those Zenni glasses had to help you a little bit, right?
Those Zenni glasses are, like, first of all, I'm in Fort Lauderdale today. So you go out in the sun, like the sun will blind you today. So you put the Zenni glasses on, you're like, not only does the sun just get eliminated, but you also look good at the same time.
It's true. Hey, you're not lying. You're not lying, Baldy. I was at Levi Stadium Sunday with all those Raider fans, and I had my bucket hat on, and I had the Zennies on, and they look fly, baby. I feel you feel different too, right, Baldy?
It's like I never go anywhere without flip flops. I don't go anywhere without the Zennies.
Don't you feel different with the Zennies on though? Like your swagger just rises from like 100 to like 150. Like I was just oozing with swag with the Zennies on.
Big swag effect, Fonte. Big swag effect, no doubt.
No doubt about it. Baldy, next week when we talk, we'll be breaking down week number 1. Niners, Lions in the week 1 season. Tua versus Mac Jones. The NFL's here. The regular season, the preseason's done, Baldy. It's now time to get to work, baby. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
You got it, Fonte. Good joining you guys, man. Always.
Take care.
Anytime. Baldy. Here in the morning roast.
I got my Zennies. I'll be wearing them because the sun's out today.
It is out.
So as soon as I jump in the jalopy, I'm going to put the Zennies on. My wife loves her Zennies. I got the Zenni sunglasses.
Yes.
And they're prescription sunglasses.
Oh, look at you.
So exactly. So I can see. I'm looking fly. So
you do look like, hey, Coles, I've seen you in the Zennies.
Exactly.
I've seen you in the Zennies. Elevate your tailgate with Shasky.
That's right. That's true. True that. You know what else I did with the Zennies? Because kids at the time, kids are on the computers more and more. I got my daughter a pair of the Zennies with the I don't know what the lens is called, but it kind of it helps their eyes not be bothered by the rays,
glare,
the glare,
blue light blockers.
Exactly, that's
blue light blockers. Yeah,
so that's what I got my kids because they're on the computers for school when they were doing homeschooling, and now they're in school, but everyone does it on the computer. I got her to glass. She doesn't need glasses, but she wears them so that it protects her eyes when she's on her computer.
The Zennies are special.
I know.
I had them on Sunday, and look, I've been a big Ray-Ban guy, but the Zennies, when I throw those bad boys on, it just feels right. I forget they're on. That's how good they are. I forget they're on my head.
It's funny you say that. I was wearing, because I have the prescription sunglasses, I go into the grocery store, and I'm still wearing my sunglasses because I can see perfectly. And you're right. You forget they're on.
You forget they're on.
Now I'm sunglass guy indoors.
Right.
And I don't know if you want to be sunglass guy indoors.
Hey, you got to be a special character.
You do.
To pull off the glasses indoors.
Yep.
Guru always rocks the glasses indoors. Liquidate All Assets with Dan Dibley, that podcast. Guru's always rocking the shades. He rocks the shades indoors. It's tough for me to rock. Like, I wore the shades indoors one time, and Curly called me out. Producer John Curly called me out. He said, Bonte, what are you doing? What are you doing wearing the shades indoors?
Curly, you can't slide anything past Curly. He's going to get up in your grill.
I was feeling myself that day, Curly. I was. Curly.
Smell yourself, bro.
Come on, man. There's nothing wrong with shades indoors. I may wear shades indoors tomorrow. That's how good I'm feeling about Trey Lance and what Baldy just said about the rookie class. He believes, Coles, all 5 quarterbacks can play right now.
I disagree.
Well, it's easy to say now.
I know, because he ain't here.
He ain't here. 5 quarterbacks could play. And he said Mac Jones had a hell of a preseason. But he said Trey just needs to play.
He does, but this team needs to win. He can't learn on a team that is built to win championships. You're not going to throw him out there against Green Bay in the home opener. You're not going to throw him out there against Seattle. Pete Carroll will disguise those defenses to the point where the kid, he'll piddle down his leg. Come on, you cannot do that. Even Arizona, to some extent, you don't want to throw them into the fire. And then you say after the bye week, maybe it's the Colts. DeForest Buckner is licking his chops to play his former team.
He is. He
right?
is.
He can't wait to show the 49ers how they made a massive mistake by choosing Eric Armstead over him.
Yes, that worries me.
Yep.
But this is why I may need Trey Lance in there to move around that pocket, to make some things happen with his legs, to make some things happen. I'm telling you.
To overthrow passes, to throw
He doesn't overthrow.
To throw
he hits guys in the hands.
Fastball out of 6 yard out.
The ball's too hard. It's too much velocity on here. I can't catch it. That's what the jugs machine was created for. That's what it was created for. Turn that bad boy up to 100 miles per hour and catch some footballs. You're a wide receiver. I want to hear nothing about drop passes. Oh, the ball's coming out too hot. Aaron Rodgers throws it hard. You know what I'm saying? He was throwing – Patrick Mahomes is throwing slinger. What about Brett Favre? Were they complaining about – Brett Favre was throwing 100 miles an hour in 10-degree weather. Brett
Favre is – listen, don't talk bad about Brett Favre.
I'm not.
Brett Favre's Brett Favre. Brett Favre. That's all you need to know, Brett Favre.
He threw the ball hot. How did he end up? He ended up in Canton, Ohio.
He had touch as well. That guy was a gunslinger.
You didn't see the pass.
You know.
You didn't see the pass down to Trent Sherfield against the Chargers? Against the Chargers? 2-minute drill? Whew, over the top.
I'm just telling you. You're picking out what you talk about a small sample size. That is a small sample size of touch passes that he threw.
Mac Jones basically lit up third stringers just like Trey Lance. And yet, Mac Jones is out here starting for the New England Patriots, and everybody's singing his praise. Oh, Mac Jones looks so good. He went up against 2s and 3s just like Trey Lance.
Let me just say, though, New England isn't in the position the 49ers are in. The 49ers are in a position to win now,
right?
And Trey Lance isn't going to be ready for another 2 years.
So, with that 2 years, wow.
I mean, he's going to start next year, right? Because
no
you got to, as Baldy said, you got to get him on the rookie deal, and then you can put all that talent around him. That's all well and good. But I just think it's going to take a while. I know Mahomes got him to the playoffs, but they were a playoff team with Alex Smith the season before. Mahomes got a chance to learn, understand the speed of the game. He came from a passing program at Texas Tech, right? He understood it, but he had to see what the NFL was like. Speed, hiding defenses, understanding coverages, understanding going through your reads. It's different at the college level, and it's even more different at the small college level. I'm not ripping Trey Lance. I'm just giving you the reality of it all. There are 2 quarterbacks in that room who understand it. There's one who can play in the system. That's Jimmy Garoppolo. The other guy who understands it's Nate Sudfeld. The third guy might be the best of all 3. He's just not ready to play the position at the NFL level.
Get Nate Sudfeld off my roster, please. Get him out of here. If Nate
Are we breaking news for Nate Sudfeld getting released?
Oh, man, we better. I mean, he's a poor man's Nick Mullins. Let's just. Come on.
Oh, my.
He's a poor man, Nick Mullins.
No.
Matter of fact, you know what? Shanahan may have made a mistake by cutting Josh Rosen instead of. He should have cut Sudfeld instead of Josh Rosen. Rosen didn't look bad with the Falcons on Sunday.
Rosen shouldn't even be in the CFL, all right?
Come on.
Rosen shouldn't even be in the CFL. From the 650, keeping Eric Armstead and trading Buckner was by far the worst decision of the Lynch Shanahan tenure. By far. How about this?
That was a bad one.
Taking Solly Thomas at number 3.
That's my number 1.
Okay.
All right, that's my number 1.
Come on, man. Lynch had a class with him at Stanford.
Group project, man.
Exactly.
Got the peek on his paper. Hey, just write my name down, bro. Right there. Yeah, I just write my name last. It's all good. I'll wait on you guys.
Boom.
Just pass me the paper. Doug Keed, who writes for PFF. Couple factors in play with the releasing of Cam Newton. Rather than keeping him on as a Patriots backup, his command of the locker room was iffy, and his vaccination status. Neither make him an ideal choice as a backup behind a rookie quarterback. Cam Newton released by the Patriots, in case you just heard. That broke a little under an hour ago by Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network. So Mac Jones, who was the 5th quarterback taken in the 2021 NFL Draft, he will start for the New England Patriots. So now we have 3 rookie quarterbacks starting this season. Trey Lance with the Jaguars, Zach Wilson with the Jets, and now we have Mac Jones, who was selected number 15 overall by the Patriots, starting for them week number 1 against the Dolphins, against his former teammate Tua Tagovailoa, and that makes 2 quarterbacks now, 2 rookies that were taken to the top 15. Justin Fields and Trey Lance, they're still backups here.
Yep.
So when will they play? But since you say there's a big gap between Trey Lance and Jimmy G, Coles.
Yes.
How far can the Niners go with Jimmy G this year?
They can go to the Super Bowl. If they stay healthy, if he stays upright. Remember, we had our own Cam, not Newton. We had the other Cam on.
Inman.
We had Cam Inman
Our
on.
Cam on.
Our Cam.
Yeah.
And we're not
Superman.
We're not releasing him.
Right. No,
okay?
we're not.
He's our Superman. And Cam said, we can talk all we want about the quarterback position. It's going to come down to running the football. And Raheem Mostert went for over 50 in the drive that he played. Okay? As long as the run game is healthy and as long as the run game produces, you can game manage yourself into winning a Super Bowl. You don't need Superman back there making ultra heaves. You just need Jimmy G to keep it on the rails. Now, he did it one other time. He got you to a Super Bowl. He got you a lead deep into the fourth quarter. You couldn't hold on to it. What makes you think he can't do it again? As long as he's healthy, the high ankle sprain doesn't bother him, the knee doesn't bother him. As long as he's healthy, what makes you think he can't do that?
Can Jimmy have a better year?
Yes.
Because I'm a Jimmy guy. 2019 was special. 27 touchdown passes, 13 picks. Nearly threw for 4,000. Had a lot of blowouts that year. So he sat out the fourth quarter, and he just headed the ball off to Mostert or Jeff Wilson Jr. or Breida or Tevin Coleman. Does he have another? You believe he could replicate that season in 2019 this year? Because I will say this, Coles, in defense of Jimmy Garoppolo, the weapons he has on this roster is better than the weapons he had in 2019.
Well, that's the key. And that's another reason I think you've got to start him because of the position they're in. You know, I keep going back to this Mac Jones decision where he's now going to be the starter for the New England Patriots. Guess what? The Buffalo Bills are the best team in the division. Guess what? The Miami Dolphins are the next best team in that division. At best, the Patriots maybe try to think they could possibly be a wild card team. I think they know they're still in rebuild. So give it to him. The Niners aren't in rebuild. They're in win now. Yes, Jimmy G can have better numbers. Yes, because he's got better weapons. If Kittle can stay healthy the entire time. If Deebo Samuel can stay healthy the entire time. But again, the key is as long as the running game is effective and the defenses have to suck in on the play action, there's nobody who fakes better than Jimmy G. That is where he will make his money. The end. He's your best chance to get back to the bowl. Listen, I'm all in on what they're doing with this team. You got to start number 10. Let's not even have the argument anymore because the guy's got the microchip in his finger. He's not going to see the field the first 2 weeks.
Well, here's what Shanahan had to say about QB1.
Guess we'll have to see. I mean, I don't like playing this game, but everyone keeps asking me that question. I'm not just giving the answer just to satisfy the question. I think we got a pretty good idea, like I said, all along. I think our team does, and we're pretty good with it as long as I can keep surviving press conferences.
Does he need an oxygen machine or something? He does a lot of deep breaths in the middle of sentences.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Shanahan.
I don't like to play this game.
Hey,
what is he doing over there?
He's running off the sideline, man. Get to the locker room.
Maybe
those speeches take a lot.
It
takes a lot out of him.
Is he, Steven? Is he on a treadmill when he's doing these interviews?
Maybe, probably, but maybe not.
Does he? Does he not know? Does he know exactly what he wants to say every time he gets to the microphone?
Maybe, probably, but maybe not.
650. Bonte, Vegas didn't change the spread on the Pats-Fins game. New England's still 2.5-point favorites after the Mac Jones news.
Boy, I don't know if I'd do that. I think, listen, Miami's a double-digit win team last year. Miami's a good team. Now, I don't know if Tua's going to be bringing them to the promised land.
Right.
A lot of what their success was
defense, special teams,
and was Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
Because Fitzmagic, no matter what you think of him, he is a competent NFL quarterback.
Yeah, Fitzmagic one week and then Fitztragic the next.
It could be, but he understands how to play the position. And I think they made a mistake by going to Tua. That's my belief.
How long until Fitzmagic becomes Fitztragic in Washington and Ron Rivera goes calling his old quarterback?
That's fine. That could be.
It could be. Could be. We'll discuss on the other side. Tomas and San Jose Stonehold will get you on the other side here on The Roast. The new Odyssey exclusive stations are curated for sports listeners like you. Find your new summer soundtrack. There are hundreds of new stations for summer barbecues, road trips, working out, or relaxing poolside. You'll find a huge variety of music stations like Arena Rock of the 70s and 80s that conjures up memories of epic tailgate parties, mesmerizing light shows, fog machines, and lighters held high in the air. You'll find your favorite artists on Odyssey 2 on the all-new Artist radio stations. Check out the new Odyssey exclusive stations on the Odyssey app. Brought to you in part by Macy's, Geico, and Coke Zero Sugar.
Afternoons with Damon, Ratto, and Kolsky from 2 to 6.
Kyle Shanahan, he needs a guy who knows the offense and can run it. And until Trey Lance can do that, Trey Lance is a backup. And I know that everybody, fans want this and fans want that. Well, 49er fans have always wanted whoever isn't the quarterback.
Damon, Ratto, and Kolsky, streaming live on the radio.com app and your smart speaker.
Hey, guess what? It's your boy Bonte, and I'm sitting here with Coles right now trying to school him on Timeless Coffee. And let me tell you and Coles about my friends at Timeless Coffee. It is the official coffee of the morning roast, but you already knew that. You got to stop in there and get the cold brew Timeless Ice with oat milk. It is good. And while you're there, try a slice. I keep talking about it. The seasonal strawberry shortcake made with the freshest strawberries. Coles, when I had it a couple weeks ago out there on Piedmont Avenue in Oakland, I didn't use any utensils. It was straight fingers. What? And it was finger licking good. I'm telling you, man. And everything is baked on site and is 100% plant-based. And they're now serving every day. I'm a big breakfast sandwich guy. Breakfast sandwiches. Their breakfast sandwich, as well as the sausage and potato empanada, quiche and frittata, and other savory items. Timeless has it cracking right now. Plus, their new shop located at 17th and Webster in downtown Oakland. Heck, they're even hiring. They need a barista there. It's so booming down there in downtown Oakland. Also, extended hours. Come on, man. It doesn't get any better than that. The Timeless All-Star team makes everything they sell in-house. They offer monthly and bi-monthly coffee subscriptions as well in our online store. So what the heck are you waiting for? Go stop by one of their 3 locations in Oakland or Berkeley, or check them out at timelesscoffee.com.
If you thought you missed the lowest mortgage rates in history, you're in luck because they're back. Mortgage rates are near historic lows again. So if you have a mortgage, refinance it and forget it. You'll never have to worry about refinancing again. Network Capital Funding is offering a low 15-year fixed rate at 1.75% with a 1.98 APR. Incredible! Network Capital has built a reputation for saving people time and money with our unique process that's fast, simple, and secure. Our 15-year fixed rate is 1.75% with a 1.98 APR. Now, second chances don't come often, and you may never see these rates again. So refinaance it and forget it. That's a 15-year fixed at 1.75%. Yes, 1.75% with a 1.98 APR. Call the experts at Network Capital now. Call 800-500-1-HIT. 800-500-1-HIT. As in home run. Call now and save big on your refi. 800-500-1-HIT. 800-500-1448. NMLS ID 11712. Not licensed in all states. Visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Licensed by the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation and the Financing Law. Number 603D787. An equal opportunity lender. Rates subject to change and may not be available at rate lock. Discount points may apply. Subject to credit approval. Call 800-500-1448 for additional cost information.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
To learn more about our programs and to donate, go to carsforkids.com. That's Cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and maximum tax deduction.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
I'm Serena Williams. You watch me live on TV. So why am I in a British drama you watch on demand?
Fancy a dance, milady?
Sure. It's because DirecTV Stream brings the best of live TV and on demand together.
Oh, you're quite the dancer.
Mr. Jeffries, you're making me blush.
Oh.
Introducing DirecTV Stream, the best of live TV and on demand with no annual contract. Get your TV together at directtv.com.
Requires high-speed internet and compatible device. Content varies by package and location. Restrictions apply.
Staples Connect has everything for school at amazing prices. Right now, Staples 1-subject notebooks are only 25 cents each, and Crayola 24-count crayons, 2-pocket polyfolders, and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each. So your student won't just be ready for school. There'll be tons of drawings to hang on the fridge ready.
We're going to need a bigger refrigerator.
Visit your local Staples store or staples.com/back-to-school and get amazing prices for everything on your back-to-school list. Ends 9/18. Limit 30. Notebooks in store only. Offer may vary online.
Microban 24 protects against Staphylococcus aureus and Enterobacter aerogenes bacteria, but does not provide 24-hour protection against viruses. Every time you touch a surface, you leave behind bacteria. Use Microban 24 sanitizing spray to keep surfaces sanitized all day. Spray on hard surfaces to kill 99.9% of bacteria and viruses initially, including the virus that causes COVID-19. Microban 24 keeps killing bacteria for 24 hours, touch after touch. When used as directed, Microban 24, touch after touch, it doesn't give up.
Hey,
it's Matt Kolsky from Damon Ratto and Kolsky, and you're listening to KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, an Odyssey station.
It's time to wake up with a nice cup of morning roast. Featuring Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. Presented by Timeless Coffee. This is the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game.
Good morning to everybody out there on the roadways. 280, 101, 880. We're rocking and rolling here on the roast. Cole's in for Butcher. I'm still here. We're talking some football. We'll get back to the Giants a little bit later with Pavs. Alex Pavlovic of NBC Sports Bay Area. That'll be coming up at 8:50. Talk a little Giants baseball. Big stretch for them. They lose last night to the Brewers 3-1. Tonight, we don't even know who's pitching for the Giants. It is TBD. So we'll get back to that a little bit later. But the big news of the day in the sports world, Cam Newton released by the New England Patriots, which means Mac Jones is starting at quarterback for the New England Patriots. And Daniel Jeremiah, it's almost as if he is listening to us, Coles, here on the Morning Roast. Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network just tweeted out, going to be fascinating to compare San Francisco and New England for the next decade.
Yep.
Shanahan embraced the future over familiar quarterbacks. New England chose familiar with Mac Jones' play style matching Brady's. And basically, Coles, you just said that.
Boom. Let me put it this way. Because I think the window is now for the 49ers, and I think that window is 2 to 3 years, because you just don't know what your roster is going to do. Mm-hmm. You don't know about injuries. You don't know about keeping guys together. But let's say the window now is 2 to 3 years. I would rather have the quarterback who's most game ready now for that 2-3 year stretch. Over a 10-year span, Trey Lance might be the best quarterback of the lot. Let's hope that he is, because he's our guy.
Right.
But he ain't ready now. Might not be ready next year. By the third year, all right, now those guys have had their run already. That's like Harbaugh's team that had the 3-year run. This team could have the 3-year run. Give me Jimmy now. But Mac Jones could have slid right into that spot and done the exact same things that Jimmy was doing at a lesser price point. You could have kept these guys together. This team can win now. I don't know what happens 3 and 4 and 5 years from now.
You think if Mac Jones would have got drafted by the Niners, he starts? He takes Jimmy's job?
Boy, that's a good
How does that work out? How do you imagine that? How does that? Because, obviously he wasn't a fan favorite before the draft, Mac Jones, that is. There's not a Niner. I'd say 80% of the Niner fans wanted nothing to do with Mac Jones.
If not higher.
If not higher. They wanted nothing to do with Mac Jones. So can you imagine, if Mac Jones didn't beat out Jimmy Garoppolo? So if Trey Lance doesn't start against the Lions and he doesn't start against Philly, he doesn't start all season, well, people are going to say, well, you know what, that's fine. He only played one game in the last couple of years. He started one season in North Dakota State. It's fine. But if the tables were turned on Mac Jones, you drafted Mac Jones, you couldn't even beat out Jimmy.
Listen, here's the deal. You overpaid to get your guy. Fine. All these other guys are starting. All these other guys are getting their reps now, all right? At what point, 49er fan, are you going to put the foot down and expect your first-round small college quarterback to be a starter in the NFL?
I'm saying go ahead and start him now.
See, you want to see it right now.
Right now.
I think that would hurt their opportunity to win a Super Bowl, but that's fine. I just wonder if there's going to be an external pressure that says you got to start this guy. You got to put him in games, and that doesn't mean hope that Jimmy gets hurt. Listen, flip-flop it around. Ready? Let's say that, go back to draft day.
Yep.
And what happens is exactly what you and I wanted to happen. With the third pick in the draft, the 49ers take Mac Jones of Alabama.
It would have been great for content.
It would have been fantastic. I was already buying my, what was it, Matt? What's his name? Matt? What's his real name? They call him
McCorkle.
McCorkle. I have my McCorkle jersey ready to rock in my 49er colors. And let's say later on at number 12 or wherever the Patriots were picking 15, they took Trey Lance. What if the news came out today that they cut Cam Newton and Trey Lance was named the starter of the New England Patriots, and you're sitting here with Mac Jones as a backup to Jimmy Garoppolo? What would this town be doing right now?
Armageddon. It would be Armageddon out here. This town would be burning because they would be ticked off that they got McCorkle Jones, who looks like a basically has a style like a Kirk Cousins, like a Jimmy Garoppolo. People want something different out here in the Bay Area. They've seen that
Which
quarterback
is a style
before.
just like Joe Montana.
5-1-0. Yeah, but Joe Montana could scramble a little bit. He could do a little more with his legs.
Okay.
You know that. You're a big Notre Dame guy.
That's true.
You know that. 5-1-0. If Mac Jones is better than Lance, Bill wins again. Bill Belichick, that is. Kyle should lose his job if Mac Jones is better than Trey Lance. Kyle should lose his job if Mac Jones is better than Trey Lance. Is there any Niner fan out there, 888-957-9570, that thinks the Niners made a mistake in drafting Trey Lance over Mac Jones?
I got one right here from the 415. They should have stayed at 12 and drafted Mac.
Wow.
That, I think, is starting to... You know what? I think everyone got all giddy about Trey Lance when the draft happened, and I think they got all giddy because they follow the writers who are cackling at whatever Kyle Shanahan says, and they're writing all the pretty things about Trey Lance. And now they see the reality. Wait a minute. We moved up to number 3, and we scoffed at one guy, and he's now starting for the greatest coach in the history of the National Football League as a rookie, and our guy has a microfracture after got tapped by a linebacker.
Oh, come on.
He got tapped by a linebacker.
Oh, here you go.
And he's got a floating microchip.
Yeah, I mean, he's throwing a pass, and the linebacker's helmet hits his finger. Meanwhile, Jimmy Garoppolo in the quarter earlier almost breaks his neck diving head first at the goal line in front of 2 linebackers in a preseason game.
Hold on. 707. Coast. Name one strictly stationary young quarterback that has had success. Tom Brady. And the conversation now is over, 707.
By the way, a lot of things going on in New England. Adam Schefter reporting that Patriots are placing Pro Bowl corner Stephon Gilmore on the PUP list, which means he will miss at least the first 6 games of the season. He is recovering from quad surgery at the end of last season. Wow. They were just working on a contract extension, I believe. Let's go to Tomas in San Jose and look at the Eric in Oakland. Tomas, what's happening, man? You're on the roast with Koza Bonte.
Hey, morning, Bonte. Tokyo Jim. What's going on, guys?
What's happening,
What's
baby?
up, baby?
Hey, Tokyo, you're on one today.
He's always on one, Tomas.
That's 2 days in a row, baby.
Dude, it's a long week, baby. It's only Tuesday. A terrible Tuesday.
Hey, 3 more days with you, Tokyo. 3 more days.
Exactly.
We love Coles.
No, but my thing is, hey, if Mac Jones played for the Niners, don't forget, the Niners are in the NFC West, the toughest division in the NFL.
That's a good
that
point.
guy, he's just like Jimmy. Jimmy, you know, I mean, when he's healthy, he can roll out the pocket a little bit. But McCorkle back there, he's just a standing statue. This defense in the NFC West will eat that guy up, man. So with Trey Lance, you know, you kind of get that Kaepernick, but I think he's better than Kaepernick. He has a higher ceiling than Kaepernick. And then you see it in that game against the Raiders when they were switching him and Jimmy out. You know, there was no fall off. The offense was still in sync. You know, there was that one false start with Trent Sherfield, but I think he was just ready to go catch one down the field. And then there was that one with Elijah Mitchell, but he hasn't played all preseason, you know, so he was in there. He didn't know what he was doing.
He didn't know anything. Yeah, he didn't. That's on the. But Trey Lance, like a true vet, Tomas, took accountability for that. He said, "That's on me."
And then if you see him, you know, you see him after the play, he went and dapped him up and told him, "Let's go, man. You got this. Come on, get your head in the game." You know, he wasn't all rolling his eyes or telling him, you know, yelling at him like Tom Brady was. What are you doing? Get out of here. Give me somebody else. You know, Trey Lance took him, dapped him up, was like, "Let's go, guy. You got this on the next play."
All right, Tomas, good call, man.
I love it, Tomas.
Ernie from Concord. I went from Team Coles to Team Split quarterback. Not bad. How will Niner fans feel if Justin Fields turns out better than Trey Lance? Man, this draft, man, is going to see this thing play out the next 5 years, Langford. It's going to be fascinating.
Doesn't this show though that Mac Jones got a lot of, I think, unearned criticism when we were getting into the draft? Like when people were just talking all this mess about him and saying these guys are better than that guy, this guy's better than that guy. Like California's different. You know, we're not all in our homes every single Saturday watching college football day and night. It's a little different over here. So sometimes I think, you know, you watch a little bit of it, then maybe he has a bad game that confirms your bias and you don't see it in totality. So I think he had some unearned criticism around draft time for sure.
Langford, you're right on the money. You're spot on about that. Because I'm one of the few Californians who do watch college football every single Saturday. And I'm going to pull a drive-by on my partner in crime, Joe Shasky, the butcher. And I said, Joe Shasky, This guy throws a great deep ball. And you know what he told me, Coles? I don't want no Mac Jones.
You know what?
I couldn't even I couldn't even break down Mac Jones on these airways.
I'm going to text him right now. I know he's on his vacation. I'm going to text him and say, hey, Mac Jones, QB1.
Wow.
Take
Just
that.
shut up.
Take that, big fella.
I mean, seriously, that week of the draft, you can't even bring up McCorkle Jones on the internet.
I'm bringing it up now.
You couldn't bring him up on the airwaves because he did get a bad rap for whatever reason. But Joe Burrow played with a lot of talent at LSU. Nothing but stars. All right? Everybody said, oh, number one pick, great. Had 1 year at LSU. 1 year. All right? Trevor Lawrence. Oh, he played with nothing but all-stars at Clemson. Justin Fields, Ohio State. The Big Ten. He ran over guys in the Big Ten.
Yep.
Nothing but talent. J.K. Dobbins in the backfield. You're headed up all off to J.K. Dobbins for crying out loud. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these quarterbacks play with big-time talent. But it's, can you read a defense? How do you read? Mac Jones was great at Alabama. He was great. And everybody says, oh, Devontae Smith was the reason why Mac Jones was so good. Jalen Waddle, Judy, all those guys. Mac Jones, to Langford's point, Coles, and I know I'm running on here, he did get a bad rap before the draft, and that was unfair.
He got a horribly bad rap, and it especially came from the Bay Area. I don't understand why. I probably could have an answer if I had one or two under the belt. I'd give you a better answer for it.
What about Timeless? You got Timeless under the belt.
I could have a little Timeless. That could be good for you. That'd definitely be good for you. But the bottom line is, I think a lot of people just saw him as the old version of quarterback, and we have a new vision for what great quarterbacks can do. Mahomes can scamper around a little bit and throw it 15 different arm angles. Mm-hmm. You've got in the division, Russell Wilson can do that, and you've got Kyler Murray who can do that. I think our vision of quarterback now has changed to, I need someone more movable, and I need someone who can make odd and unusual throws to make my offense work. I'm not sure that that's going to work for everybody. For instance, Lamar Jackson, while he's an MVP in the league, he gets figured out in the playoffs, doesn't he?
He does.
He gets figured out in the playoffs.
He does.
All right?
Young quarterback, but he does. He's got work to do.
Yeah.
He's got work to do.
Exactly. But he's a beast through 16 games of a season. We'll see if he holds up 17 games this year. But he is a bad man when he gets on the field until we get to the playoffs. They figure him out.
And to be fair, Coles, a lot of quarterbacks get figured out in the playoffs. How long did it take Peyton Manning to get over the hump? Drew Brees. Phillip Rivers never quite got over the hump. You know what I'm saying? Ben Roethlisberger has had playoff failures. Sure, he's gotten to the mountaintop, but he's lost at the mountaintop. The playoffs are tough, man.
They are
tough to win.
But I would say for Lamar Jackson, his skill set clearly is run first, pass second.
No doubt.
And I think once you get to the playoffs, when they just box him in, they dare him to throw the football.
Yeah.
He can't make those throws. Now, I'm not saying that's Trey Lance.
Right.
I'm just saying, though, eventually Trey Lance will be able to make those throws. I just don't know if he can make them now.
I think he's already farther ahead than Lamar Jackson when it comes to throwing in the pocket and making all the throws.
Right.
Lamar, he does need work throwing it in the pocket, but I also think Baltimore has done a terrible job in trying to build around him. They've given him the tight ends and Mark Andrews, but who's his receiver? Hollywood Brown? He's 150 pounds.
Willie Snead, baby.
Willie Snead. Come on. He's like, what are you, a former Raider for a second?
No, now he's on the Raiders.
He's on the Raiders.
Yeah. We'll see if he makes the 53.
He was a Saint for a long time, couldn't stay on the field. But that's what I'm saying. Get Hollywood Brown, who runs one route, a go route. And he's 150 pounds. You can't have Hollywood run a quick slant. You know, they brought Dez Bryant back last year to Baltimore Ravens, trying to find some juice at the wide receiver position. So to be fair to Lamar, they need to do better building around him. But I'm with you, Coles. He's got to get better as a pocket passer. Because in the playoffs, you could run around and do all these things. The games are still won from the pocket.
Is this a good thing to throw around Trey Lance from the 707? Trey will be what we thought Cap was going to evolve into. Is that good to put that around him, or is that too much pressure? Because there was that short window where number 7 was changing the position forevermore. And we were all, I said it yesterday, kissing our biceps, and we were loving it. But then it petered out because defenses caught up to him and started hitting him. Is Trey Lance going to be Cap 2.0, where he understands how to run and protect himself, and still he can throw the ball better than Cap, who really, he was also a one-pitch guy. He was a long fastball guy also.
Yeah, I mean, Cap, I think they're so different stylistically. Coming out of college, I think Trey was better prepared. Obviously, North Dakota State, they're running a pro-style offense, Coles. His throwing motion looks more natural. Kaepernick's ever did. Cap had the big
long,
wind up.
Yeah,
It's like
long.
Byron Leftwich, long, elated. Like, it was just long. It wasn't natural. And when the talent depreciated around him, boy, he depreciated too. And all of a sudden, you're playing for Jim Topsula. All of a sudden, you're playing for Chip Kelly. And it's like, boy, I am stuck out here. So he does have the potential to be better than Cap. But a lot of people forget, man, Cap, like you said, Coles, those are some great years he put together for the 49ers.
Yeah, that window, he was I'm trying to go through that era of football. I think he was the most exciting player in the game.
Wow.
At that point.
Yeah.
For that small window.
Yeah.
When he was what he was.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
Then
agree.
he got hit, then he got hurt, then he slowed down, then he couldn't throw. Remember that game against Arizona? He couldn't throw the out pass.
Oh, yeah.
2 picks.
2 pick sixes in the first quarter.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was
Remember that?
ugly.
And it was all over.
It was all over.
And then we realized he's not a quarterback. He's a tremendous athlete. He's not a great quarterback.
Not a great
So
quarterback.
you can maybe, you know what he would have been great for? He would have been great for your QB2 right now. You put him with Jimmy. You want to do what you're doing with Trey Lance? You give me that Colin Kaepernick and give him some cap packages in his prime. I would have elongated his career because no one could figure him out when am I going to put him in? When am I not going to put him in? He would have been a game changer. To start him, though, that wasn't going to work.
Let's go to Eric in Oakland. Eric in Oakland, you're on the roast here on 95.7 The Game.
Hey, good morning, guys. Coach, you're killing me, man. You're killing me, man. We got 15 hours, and I don't know what left. You're killing me, bro. Like,
How am I killing you? Truth to power? Truth to power?
Less than 14 hours left with Cozy.
and 2 minutes and whatever seconds. Anyway, so on a serious note, you guys, you know the difference between the 49ers and every other team? First of all those other teams that are starting those rookies, they stink. They stink. There's a reason why they're drafting so high.
True.
They stink. There's nothing else over there. You got a mustache in one team, you got a Darnold in another team, and you got a washed-up Cam in another team. That's why they're starting, because they have nothing else to do. The 49ers, man.
All right, Eric, we're losing you. We're losing you, Eric. Call back.
But I get his point. He is right. Trevor Lawrence is starting because the Jags were 1-15.
Yep.
And you know what?
They stink.
They stink. He might get hurt this year.
That's why, Coles, call me soft. I wouldn't play Trevor Lawrence this year. That's a place I don't play a rookie quarterback.
I pick my spots.
I don't play Trevor Lawrence. I wait till December.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I let C.J. Beathard take all the hits early in the year.
Exactly.
And I let him take those hits against the Titans.
Fully agree with you.
Zach Wilson in New York. The Jets have been known
Fully
to
agree.
ruin quarterbacks.
Yep.
Sam Darnold got out of there in the nick of time.
Yep.
He got to Carolina in the nick of time.
Fully agree with you on both of those guys.
Some
Right?
teams don't need to play a rookie quarterback. Some teams can. I don't know, man. This is a tough situation. I don't think the gap between Trey and Jimmy is all that wide, but the finger injury for Trey is obviously a setback. And
sure it is.
I think it's just a matter of time before Shanahan says, hey, Jimmy Garoppolo's going to start week 1 against Detroit. Let's go to double play in San Bruno. Double play. What's happening, man? You're on the roast.
Good morning, gentlemen. Nice to be here.
What's happening, DB?
There's not going to be buyer's remorse with this Mac Jones thing. We have to remember, if the Niners would have stayed at 12 and drafted Mac Jones, it could have been sold to us as everybody else was already taken. He was the next best available quarterback. And I'm sure Kyle would have done just as good a job at molding him to be the next Jimmy Garoppolo. But Kyle Shanahan needed a dynamic player to be that quarterback to make this offense run the way he sees fit. And we saw just a glimpse of it at the goal line in the preseason game against the Raiders. Say what you want about preseason, but that play action, that pistol offense is going to be more effective when you have the threat of a running quarterback that can come out the other side. Jimmy Garoppolo, Mac Jones, these guys are not going to be able to do that. So the selling of moving up to 3 is why Niner fans were mad about drafting Mac Jones. You don't sell all that to draft Mac Jones at 3. You just don't do that. So that's why Niner fans were yelling at the brass not to draft Mac Jones. It's not that he wasn't or couldn't have been a good quarterback.
Right.
It's just you don't sell or give away all that capital for Mac Jones.
I get you, double play. Great call, double play. But this is where I disagree with you. If you identify a guy, I don't care if it's 3, 5, 12. If that's your guy, that's your guy. I'm doing everything I can to get my guy. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying?
If you're all in on him,
if you're all
you got
in
to
on
push
him,
your chips in.
I'm putting my chips in. I'm getting my guy.
And that's what Kyle Shanahan did.
I'm guaranteeing you. But if it was Mac Jones, I'm not buying the whole you could have got him at 12. It's a value play. How do I know New England doesn't jump up to 11 to get Mac Jones? How do I know the Denver Broncos will say, let's see here. Let me get Mac Jones. I'm going to take Mac Jones since there's no quarterbacks on the board left. Now, I know they passed up Fields and Mac Jones anyway and selected Patrick Surtain Jr., but there's reports out there that the Falcons wouldn't let Trey Lance slip past 4. I don't know if the Patriots sit at 15 if the Niners are sitting at 12. I don't know that. We don't know what's going on in these war rooms, Coles.
No, you don't. You don't know what they really think about guys in particular. This is an interesting one from the 650. Back in 2018, Baker looked great. Josh Allen looked awful. You got to give it 3 years before you pass judgment. Josh Allen could be the MVP in the league this year.
You can, yeah.
So I agree with the 650. My greater point is the 49ers can win now. And maybe Kyle thinks that maybe he thinks he can make the transition for quarterbacks in a year and keep the same infrastructure and continue to compete for a Super Bowl, that all he needs to do is to get his new guy up and running for a year, and he can still do it with Jimmy Garoppolo, but he's not going to pay him $25 million next year. He's got someone to take over. Maybe he sees the new guy as someone who can take over in a year and still maintain greatness. Maybe that's what he sees. Good on him if he does. It's tough, though. Take Mahomes. It's tough to take a playoff team and take them to a Super Bowl the first year you start, even if it's your second year in the league.
So this next guy, Coles, because the phone lines are packed right now.
Oh, then let's hit the lines. I'm sorry.
888-957-9570. No. I need to give you a little background here. Duriel in San Jose. All right. I've limited him to 1 call per week. He's been in Alcatraz. You know, usually he comes in running hot about Draymond Green. I'm saying, bro, you need more material. So he comes in talking about Jimmy G, and he's going off the rails last week. I thought we put him in Alcatraz for a month. But he knows, hey, a week later, I'm going to call you. So we're going to give him a pass. We'll give him parole. Here's Duriel in San Jose on a roast. Duriel, good morning.
He's going to tweet his way into the Hall of Fame.
Duriel, what's happening, baby?
It's great to be on the greatest radio station in the world, 95.7 The Game. And, you know, here it is. I don't understand what the confusion is about. The general manager stood at the podium and said, Jimmy G is our guy. James, okay, that's the starter for week 1. And, you know, we don't hang NFC championship banners here. And we mean that and everything. So, you know, we won our Super Bowl. We're the best team in the league. We're the most talented team. We're supposed to destroy the Kansas City Chiefs in that Super Bowl. It was not supposed to be close, James. That's the problem. So we got the guy here that can fix it. If you can't do the job and go Joe Montana, Steve Young it up, and go to Disney World and win the MVP, you get to come back. If you do that, that's how you come back. And we'll keep Trey Lance on the bench for another year and let him learn from a champion. So that's the deal, Jimmy G. You got to live up to your end of the deal. We got the team out there. Hey, it's time to get some other guys into the Pro Bowl and everything. That's what they want. And, you know, we need to be putting up points because it sells jerseys, it sells merchandise, and it makes more money, and everybody's happier at the end of the night. So that's what you need to do. If you can't do it, pack your bag.
All right, Duriel.
Love it.
Give me a little anxiety there.
Keep coming back.
You know, I think he avoided Alcatraz.
I know. I love it.
So he's calling him Jimmy now, because last week he was calling him James.
He was calling him James.
He's earned a Jimmy?
He hadn't earned Jimmy yet. He was calling him James Garoppolo all of last week. Actually, all month he's been calling him James.
So if you don't get the Super Bowl done, Jimmy, pack your bags, as Duriel said. Pack your bags. Make sure you say that drop. No, he brought out everything in that one.
Guys, 4 years ago, we were salivating over Jimmy Garoppolo as our quarterback. We were sitting here saying we've got our quarterback for the next 10 years.
What happened?
Exactly.
You know what happened?
That I want to know from 49er fans.
I tell you what happened.
Why did you fall out of love? You got married to Jimmy Garoppolo the day you traded for him. Then you signed him to $125. What did you say?
$137.5
million deal. You're in love with him. You gave him that big 5-carat juicy diamond, and you've fallen out of love. Why are you falling out of love with Jimmy Garoppolo?
I tell you why, Coles. Because I've been fighting this fight for a long time. And I kind of gave up when it came to Trey Lance. And I've been the Jimmy guy. I was basically called the head cheerleader of the Jimmy Garoppolo fan club. Seriously. I mean, it was unbelievable. It's one, because he hasn't been on the field. When they saw him go down week 3 in Kansas City with that torn ACL trying to make a play, he didn't play good in those first 2 games. Let's be real. Threw 3 picks in Minnesota. The pick 6, of course, put the Vikings up 24-6. Lions game. Remember, he threw the pick six, but they called defensive holding on Detroit. It was a phantom call. It was an awful
Throws
game
it
for Jimmy.
across the field. You remember that pass? He throws across.
Yeah.
In fact, that was one of the worst calls by the wrong official on the field to make that play.
Ever, right? It was awful. Awful. And then 2019 happens. And the Niners lose the Super Bowl. And the 49ers, and this is where I come down Shanahan's road. Shanahan, the coaching staff, the franchise have done a lot of things to put the Super Bowl on Jimmy Garoppolo. So in people's minds, they see that one throw to Emmanuel Sanders and say, oh, Jimmy blew it. He couldn't make the throw. First of all, there was a minute 30 left, and Mahomes and company had a couple timeouts. They were scoring the ball. You weren't stopping Mahomes and company at that point. I got news for you, the 49er fans. But for some reason, everybody fell out of favor with Jimmy G then because of the Super Bowl loss. I thought it was unfair. First full season, you get to the Super Bowl. Oh, he threw it 8 times in the NFC Championship game. Shanahan doesn't trust him. That's when it happened. That's when it happened, Coles. And for some reason, people can't get back on Jimmy G's train. I'm actually pulling for him to have a big year. If he starts, Coles, if he starts and wins, it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. You can't go wrong with that. All right, just a couple of things off the text line. The missed throw to Sanders, period. That's from Rob.
It's unfair.
For Jimmy, it's his oh-no throws because he does have an oh-no throw every game.
I coined it, the Jimmy oh-no throw. But you know what the stats back up? Is when he does throw the oh-no throw, he comes back with a vengeance.
Boom.
He comes back with a vengeance.
I like it. 49ers fell out of love because Kyle choked. Major choke alert in the Super Bowl. Jimmy just could not adjust, couldn't do it. So those are just some of the reasons that 49er fan has fallen out of love. We thought we had the 10-year guy.
I know.
He was handsy. He's pretty.
I know.
Big and strong, square jaw.
Hey.
Look at how smart he is.
Santana Row's finest.
He learned from Tom Brady, one of our guys, because, Junipero Sarah in the house. What?
Sarah High School.
I think some of it had to do with the evolution of the quarterback ever since he did get that contract, too. Because ever since then, all of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen come along, guys with huge arms who can also move. I know you got Baker Mayfield, too. Even Baker Mayfield, I'll even throw him into this conversation. I mean, you're seeing this new kind of evolution of quarterback as we're going on, and you're seeing Jimmy G with an average depth of target of like 3.5 yards on some games, and you're just thinking, well, why can't we get that big arm? So I do think that has something to play into it as well.
Is mobility part of the big arm thing too? Like Josh Allen, big arm, big legs, he runs all over the place. Like all these guys, it used to be there were only a few guys who could run the football or you would let run the football. And now it seems that we're getting it more and more. We already looked at the guys in the division. Justin Fields is going to be one of those guys.
I didn't even mention Lamar Jackson either.
Yeah, Lamar. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And I think of him as run first, pass second. Not the prototypical quarterback. I don't want to call him gimmick guy because that's doing a disservice to him. But if it's a gimmick guy, he's a heck of a gimmick.
Right.
But is the mobility factor the biggest thing that goes on with the quarterback position now, and that it's changed the way the game is played? Jared Goff wouldn't go number 1 in the draft now with the arm talent that he has, but he's a statue back there.
No chance.
All right.
No chance. No chance. And look, I've always, when it comes to video games, right, I've always wanted to play with the mobile quarterback, run around the pocket, make plays. It's always fun like that. Who has fun with just a pocket quarterback when you can't move around or whatnot?
Is Justin Herbert a movable guy or is he a pocket guy? He's a moves around guy?
Oh, yeah. That's all he did at Oregon. That's why I was shocked to see him take that next step in the NFL. When I saw him in the NFL, I was like, wow, this guy can throw it like this. Because at Oregon, all he did was, he threw it here and there, but he was a running quarterback at Oregon. They ran a lot of quarterback power, a lot of read option up there at Oregon with Justin Herbert. So I would put him in that mobile category as well.
You know what? From the 408, fans want the new car model in Trey. You know what? It's like you're dating in college. I got a pretty girl, but you know what? My pretty girl just went to the bathroom.
No doubt.
And there are other pretty girls.
I also would add this, too. The flirting with Tom Brady. I think people saw that, and there's like, oh, my, Tom Brady. Let's dump Jimmy G. And once they decided to stick with Jimmy G, I think it added more pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo to be the quarterback of the 49ers when Tom Brady was floating around, and there was some flirting going on with Tom Brady, Kyle Shanahan, and John Lynch. Let's get back out to the lines. Lines are jam-packed right now,
Get to the lines.
Well, let's get out to the lines. Let's go to Gene in Oakland. Gene in Oakland, what's happening, man? You're on the roast.
Hey, guys. So I hope I never wind up in 95.7 prison. So anyway.
Nah, you're solid, Gene. You won't be going to Alcatraz anytime soon. I haven't even put Duriel back in Alcatraz.
I just thought of another analogy. How about you love this young woman, but she's not quite of age, so you got to wait another year. Okay?
Oh boy! Look out, buddy.
Let's just go with the call.
I know. Wait a minute. You might be in solitary. Let's check the tape on that.
Gene, Langford, what do you think?
Yeah, he's gone. Bye-bye, Gene.
All right, Gene.
Not even going forward with that. Well, how do you just say, I don't hope I'm not in the 95.7 jail and then make that kind of comment?
And Gene's a great caller. Calls about the Warriors all the time.
Hey,
I can't touch
Gene.
that.
I'm pro Gene.
I'm pro Gene, but I can't touch that. We can't do that.
Nothing I can do with that.
We can't do that, Gene.
But thank you, though, for the call.
We can't do that.
For the thought.
7-7 all over my head. I was the first one talking about the overthrow to Sanders. You and Butch lost your minds over that. Actually, I was not. I was defending that throw because, one, the Niners don't go deep like that all the time.
Right.
So you're expecting Jimmy Garoppolo to complete a low percentage throw when they don't throw deep all the time. I put that whole sequence on Kyle Shanahan in Super Bowl 54. It goes 1 minute 49 left on the clock. You're at the Kansas City 49-yard line. You have 3 timeouts. My mindset is this. I'm either going to lose the game with the ball or I'm going to win the game with the ball. Patrick Mahomes on that sideline is not coming out that sideline for the rest of the game. So I'm going to run the football. Shanahan panicked in that sequence and called 4 straight pass plays with a running football team. Made no sense to me. That's where my head was at, Super Bowl 54. Just want to clarify that, 707. Check the tape.
Yeah.
Let's go to, lines are lit. Let's go to Lamar in the city. Lamar, what's happening, man? You're on the roast.
Good morning, fellas. You guys are my only friends. The best time of the year. I'm only here to talk about this quarterback coaching issue, man. Shanahan's lost 2 Super Bowls, been to the dance. He's lost them back-to-back. Now, is it going to be Garoppolo? Is it going to be Lance? We don't know. But we're a running team nonetheless. Our first option is our tight end nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
After that, everything is downhill. Our defense plays good. We're going to go to the dance. I don't care what anybody says. I like the caller's energy about 3 calls ago. And all I want to say, you guys, is that if we continue to build with a quarterback that we're not going to stay with, then that's just more time. We're wasting our energy. We're wasting our money. We're wasting we're just wasting the season, you guys. And I just don't want to take the blame and say, hey, our quarterback's not the issue anymore. It's our coach. We get to the dance, we got to seal the deal. You're up. Stay up. Run the ball. We're a running team. Y'all have a good one.
No doubt. Paz, we're going to push him to 920. A lot of people are red hot right now in the quarterback position. Cam Newton released by the New England Patriots. Cut off the team. Mac Jones, the number 15 overall pick, will start for the New England Patriots. But Coles wants to know, when did it go wrong for Jimmy Garoppolo around here? And how are you feeling, Niner fans, about Mac Jones starting? Are you having any withdrawals about not selecting Mac Jones and go with Trey Lance? I'm not. But who is? There's somebody out there. Brian Hayward, what's going on, man? You're on the roast.
I'm just wondering when a 6-10 team became a Super Bowl contender, because everyone keeps talking about the 2019 Super Bowl. There was a 2020 season. They were 6-10. Like, I don't know when we crown people, to use what's his name,
Denny Green. Crown their ass.
Yeah. We're crowning people, I guess, now, right? I'm just kind of curious when 6-10 became Super Bowl.
I agree with
all
you.
These bandwagon Raider fans jumping onto the Niners bandwagon now, being all delusional.
Wow,
double shot. We got a double shot of your love right there.
Big time double. Look, they were banged up last year. Coming into the season, a lot of people said the Niners had the most talent in the NFC. The most talent. And then all of a sudden, George Kittle, he's hurt week 1 on a high throw by Jimmy Garoppolo. Almost got his leg snapped off. All right? Nick Bosa tears his ACL week 3. Then all of a sudden, the injury started to trickle down. Jimmy Garoppolo, ankle injury. Raheem Mostert, ankle injury. Jordan Reed, he's banged up.
Complaining about the turf in
New York
Jersey.
City. That was kind of embarrassing.
It's only one team that complained about that turf all year, by the way.
Yeah, that was a little weak. That was a little weak. So that's why people were saying this team could get back to the Super Bowl. And by the way, we talked about Philly and Detroit being soft landings for the 49ers week 1 and 2. Well, the Green Bay Packers are going to be without all-pro left tackle David Bakhtiari for the first 6 weeks of the season.
Ooh.
Niners see Green Bay week number 3. You don't have your star left tackle. Guess what? Number 97, Nick Bosa, is going to be licking his chops.
I'm putting $100 on the money line week 1. I'm going to double it in the week 2. I'm going to take all that money and put it into week 3. And I'm going to do the same money in week 4. And I'm going to make a lot of money on the 49ers.
Niners starting 4-0?
That's my call. Wow. That means they're winning 3, and then they get Seattle.
Week 4.
And week 4 is when they...
At home.
That's the tone setter. That's the one where they let everyone know they're for real. Because everyone's going to say, yeah, you beat Detroit, you beat Philadelphia. That's ridiculous. That's embarrassing. Alabama could beat those 2 teams.
True.
All right? But you beat Green Bay... No Bakhtiari. People are still going to say, well, they're not 100%. And Aaron Rodgers goes in for his yearly butt kicking from the 49ers anyway.
Wow.
But it's the win over Seattle that will open everyone's eyes.
Wow.
That, my friend, is the game I'm looking at, and I'm going to make some money the first 4 weeks of the season on the 49ers.
I may ride with you on that.
I'm giving money away right now.
You are giving money away.
Okay.
I may have to give you 10% of my money if I do this.
I'm not kidding, man. You're crazy not to. The 49ers are a good football team.
You're right. No David Bakhtiari week 3 for the Packers, star left tackle. You saw when he didn't play in the NFC Championship game against Tampa, what happened to Aaron Rodgers. He got harassed all day long. And this D-line is the strength of the 49ers. They could be 3-0 before you even blink. That's why we think they're a Super Bowl contender. Let's go to... Man, a lot of calls here. Let's go to Ben and Gilroy. Ben and Gilroy. You're here on the roast. What's going on, Ben?
Love the Roy.
Oh, Ben dropped. He just dropped. Let's go to Kansas. Doug in Kansas. What's up, man? You're on the roast.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, good morning. I want to talk to that cat that was talking about when do we start crowding 6 and 10 teams. We're not getting a 6 and 10 team back. We're getting a Super Bowl team back. I don't know. He talked about 2020. Them cats were all hurt last year, man. Come on. You know, like Return of the King, he's coming back. And so are the Niners, baby. That's all I got.
All right. Safe travels out there in Kansas. Be good. You ever been to Kansas?
I've been to Kansas.
You like Kansas?
I do. I like the center of the country. They're good people.
Yeah, you like
See, you people on the coasts, there's this place it's called America. People are really nice, very friendly, helpful, understanding. I'm going to take you there one day. Take you on an all-expense-paid trip to a place, a magical land, Bonte. I call it America. You got to get there.
Kansas, Lawrence, Kansas. I always wanted to see what the
Manhattan, Kansas.
Well, I never had any Kansas
Topeka?
State. That's where that is.
You never been to Topeka?
Never been to Topeka.
I've been to Topeka.
Never been to Topeka.
Been to Topeka, brother.
Not sure I'm going on any vacations to Kansas, man.
All righty.
Cali in San Jose. Cali, America. Oh, don't get me started on Hoosiers. Callie, what's up, man? You're on the roast.
Hoosiers, that's right. We got to get you to watch that bad
I did
boy.
like Field of Dreams, though. The Field of Dreams feel was cool. I'm sure you like that one.
Yeah.
What's up, Callie?
Hey, I just wanted, man, it's great to be on the greatest morning show, sports show. Yeah, what about the Raiders getting smashed on Sunday? And I just wanted to comment on the fact that, you know, between Jimmy G and Trey Lance, you know what I mean? Like, Jimmy G is still the man, but, you know, it's just short-lived, you know, because Trey Lance is obviously our future. That is the reason why we didn't pick Mac Jones. Mac Jones is cool, but he ain't no Trey Lance, and I just want to say to everybody, have a great day, and go Niners. Let's go.
Let's go, Callie. Appreciate the call. Danker, stay on hold. We got a break. We'll get you on the other side. A lot of calls here on the roast. We'll get you on the other side. Pavs coming up at 9:20 because a lot of people want to chime in on the quarterback spot. And, Coles, you had a great question. I want you to reset that question for our audience here on the roast.
We had a couple of them in there, and you know, now my mind's going a little bit haywire.
It's all over the place.
Exactly.
What's
I'm
going
all
on?
over the place.
You think about Kansas again?
If you are the 49ers and you're a 49er fan, how long are you going to sit back and wait and watch and say, wait a minute, we spent all this draft capital on a guy and he's sitting on the side, and I got a guy that I could have had at number 12 who's now starting for the best coach in the history of the National Football League. That's what I want to know if I'm a 49er fan. How long before you guys say, wait a minute, we got duped. We got duped. We could have gotten a guy who helped us this year, ready to play football, and you got a guy who's going to sit on the side. When I don't know. That's just, and there's another side to it. If you'd have taken Mac Jones and you'd have seen Trey Lance starting, this town would be going on fire. They'd set this town on fire.
888-957-9570. I want to hear from Niner fans. By the way, a message from Cam Newton on his Instagram page. I really appreciate all the love and support during this time, but I must say, please don't feel sorry for me. I'm good. One finger, one pinky, one thumb, one love. That's from Cam Newton, who, as he was released by the Patriots this morning. More of your phone calls coming up. And it's brought to you by, as always, the Morning Roast Twitch is brought to you by Xfinity. We'll be back. Coles and Bonte on the roast.
Don't miss a second of
went 0-6 and got outscored 227 to 42. 227 to 42. And they play IMG Academy that has prospects galore. 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And they got beat up 58 to nothing. 58 to nothing. So once we get our computers up and running here, we'll get back to that sound because it was wild.
But dude got his team on ESPN's High School Game of the Week. That's the greater part of the story. I don't care that we lost. That's like us coming together with a scam on the air here and making up, Bishop Guru. We're going to call it Bishop Guru. And our Bishop Guru team is going to end up playing some power like De La Salle in some big televised game. I love it.
Dude, I was cracking up when I was reading this because I was like, how did they make ESPN? How?
Because ESPN were jokers on this.
So they got a kid named Aaron Boyd who was on the team under a different name. And he basically said, they asked him, how'd you find out about Bishop Sycamore? Before they were Bishop Sycamore, they were COF Academy. They had these coaches come from COF. It was an Adidas All-American camp, and they came and recruited me. But why did you go there? At first, they had like brochures and a plan, and then they sent them books, blueprints, and everything. They told us they were going to be on Netflix. They recruited them. All these kids telling them they were going to be on a show on Netflix. They told us we were going to be the IMG of the Midwest. They lied to me and my mama. They had JUCO kids who were 19 and 20 years old. They got videos. Oh, this is wild. They had them steal food from grocery stores, sleep on floors, Coles. This is just a mess.
That's not good. This just in from the 925. Bishop Sycamore's just signed Cam Newton as a QB2. Well done.
Well done. Well done.
Story of the day, Cam Newton gets whacked by New England, and Mac Jones is going to be the starter. You could have had Mac Jones, and everyone was up in arms about it. When did you fall out of love with Jimmy Garoppolo? That's the thing I still don't get. How did we fall so out of love that we're now in court and we're trying to keep things away from the guy? That's where we are with number 10.
That's where we're at. That's where we're at.
It's not a bad divorce, but we're certainly we're separated right now. I would say that the 49er fan relationship with Jimmy Garoppolo is separated.
Oh, it's done.
Leading towards divorce.
It's done. My girl asked me Sunday, which jersey should I wear? Should I wear the Kaepernick or should I wear the Garoppolo? I said, wear the number 10 because it could be the last time you wear it.
Wow, look at you. Calling him out.
Keeping it real. 415. Did Monty Teos go to Bishop Sycamore? Wow, this story is, there's layers to the story that's just, I couldn't even read through it because it's just so graphic. All right, download the Odyssey app. Discover hundreds of new exclusive music stations available right now. Fox Sports and Music, for sports and music fans, by sports and music fans. Check out Troy Hughes Stadium Anthems. Get amped for the big game with the best tracks from rock and more. The new Odyssey exclusive stations on the Odyssey app. Brought to you in part by Macy's and Geico and Coke Zero Sugar. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game to get breaking news updates, as well as links to the top interviews and best moments on the game. Powered by DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified. Let's get back out to the lines here. Danker in the city. You're on the roast with Coles and Bonte. What's happening?
Oh, man. That story is crazy. It sounds like they're going to be on Netflix for the wrong reasons.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
So, okay, aside the obvious with Jimmy, the injury, the crazy scramble in 2018, to me the red flags were when we played Seattle. When they loaded the box and he wasn't adjusting, I was like, uh-oh, we're hitting a wall here, people.
When? Last year against Seattle or the year before against Seattle?
In 2019, Super Bowl year. I was not impressed.
Well,
everyone's like, New Orleans. Who doesn't show out in New Orleans, So my main thing is people need to understand we drafted a mobile quarterback because a mobile quarterback gives you the ability to not get hit, not like Jimmy.
Hey, Danker, let me explain something, though, about Seattle. Week 17, Seattle 2019, Jimmy, 18 and 22, 285 yards passing, 1 touchdown pass, no picks.
85 yards?
285. 285.
Okay.
18 and 22, 285.
Which Seattle game was that?
Week 17 for home field advantage.
That was the biggest game of the year, and it came down to less than an inch at the goal line with one of the great tackles made in 49er, probably the second biggest tackle in 49er history. Put it in the top 5. They've had some great tackles.
No, they hadn't won in Seattle since 2011 before they won that game.
Right.
Sunday Night Football,
right.
NBC, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth in the house.
Yep.
And Jimmy goes out there, first road game in Seattle, in front of the 12s, and goes 18 and 22 for 285. Can't take that away from him.
Heck no. That's what I mean. We've fallen out of love with the guy for the wrong reasons. We're making up things. Look, he didn't show out in Seattle in that big game. Wait a minute. He didn't show out. They won the game, and he was brilliant.
And they clinched home field advantage.
Exactly. That's why they got to the Super Bowl. That game, I remember I was filling in on the morning show then, too. And I said, I want it to come down to Week 17. Everyone said, you're an idiot. Have them win the division and play Week 17 with the backups. I said, no, I'm a football fan. I want them to have to go to Seattle.
Yeah.
I want them to have to flex that game because it wasn't supposed to be Sunday Night Football.
It wasn't.
I want them to flex the game, and I want to enjoy it. And you know what? To this day, it's one of the great wins of the year that year. And here we're trying to make up a reason to not love Jimmy Garoppolo.
Dude, and the funny part about everything about that is Shasky and I, when they lost to Seattle that season on Monday Night Football in overtime.
Which was a brilliant game also.
No George Kittle in that game. You didn't have Joe Staley made his return.
Right?
Backup kicker. Should have won the game. Shasky and I did a Periscope that day. We said, I looked at him, I said, you know the season's coming down in week 17. He goes, yup. It's the only way it could happen. And we had a headache from that, knowing that it's going to come down to Seattle week 17. Kind of set up like that. I'm glad you brought that up, Coles. Dave in Fresno. Dave, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Did I hear you guys correctly that people are making things up why not to like Jimmy G? I'm not sure if I heard you guys correctly.
Some people do make, look, people do make things up about Jimmy Garoppolo. It's not fair. There's got to be context to it.
Okay, well, I guess John Lynch and Shanahan, too, I guess they feel that way because, I don't know, maybe they were flirting Matt Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, and Sean Watson. Oh, that's because they love Jimmy G. Like, come on, guys.
Dave, nobody said that they don't love Jimmy G. No, I didn't say that. But I'm not going to make up and say 2019 he didn't have a special year. Threw for over 400 against Arizona. Go down to the Superdome and outduels Drew Brees. I don't care what you say. The Superdome's one of the hardest places to play, and Jimmy G balled out in a gotta-have-it type of game in New Orleans to make sure that they were the number one seed. Jimmy G had great games. I can't take that away from him. Why are people trying to take away 2019 from the young man? Because, he threw 8 passes in the NFC Championship. Again, this is football. This ain't fantasy football. This is real life. If I see number 12, Aaron Rodgers on the sideline, Coles, and I get to run the ball down their throats and keep Rodgers off the field, well, what do you think I'm going to do? You're lucky I let him throw it 8 times.
Exactly. I remember where I was watching it. I was at my buddy Phil's house, and I said, listen, they can't stop him. They're just going to keep running it down their throat. I don't need number 10 on that particular day. But we're finding ways not to like the guy. Although, the caller did make a point. It's not like the 49ers haven't sniffed around about other quarterbacks.
Right.
Tom Brady, they sniffed around.
They have.
He mentioned Deshaun Watson, they sniffed around.
Matthew Stafford.
Exactly.
Tom Brady, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I mean, and the slew of quarterbacks we don't know about.
Why would you give a guy $137.5 million and then start sniffing around about other guys?
Something so makes sense to me.
That's like laying a 5-carat rock on a smoke show.
Right.
And then the minute she puts that thing on, you're on the phone and you're making phone calls to your other ladies.
No, and you know what? And you're right, Coles. Like, this is why, though, people see the contract. You're funny. The contract, you see all the opt-out clauses for Jimmy Garoppolo. The Niners built in opt-out clauses, which is smart on their end, to say, yeah, we're going to give him the flashy 5-year, $137.5 million contract. But really, it's a 1-year deal. And we're going to decide in April whether or not to pick up the option for Jimmy Garoppolo. You know what? We failed on Tom Brady. The date didn't go well. We'll stick with Jimmy G. We know he can at least lead us to a Super Bowl. And then this year, Matt Stafford. Do we want to trade all these assets for Matt Stafford? You know what? Jimmy's already won more playoff games than Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
And Matt Stafford's been in the league for 12 years. I'd rather go with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think that's where they're at with that one, Coles. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM, and HD1 San Francisco at Odyssey Station. Get ready for a drive-by, Coles, in just a second.
Oh, man.
Let's go to Igor first on the Bay Bridge. Igor first on the Bay Bridge, and then we got a drive-by. You better get your bulletproof vest on right now, Coles, because Lori in Phoenix is coming for you. What's up, Igor?
Hey, man. I mean, people, what gurus say, let's put the rat on the table. What I like to say, let's cull out that roach on the wall. It's not that Jimmy G he's not good or we don't trust him. We don't trust his track. We don't trust his track record. He gets injured. So you have to put something in place. When rappers go to producers, they go to them. Why? Because they have a track record of producing hits. It's the only thing. We love Jimmy, but he do get injured. He kind of brittle. He got a little Chris Chandler in it. Chandelier. Have a nice one.
Chris Chandler.
Fair enough.
We got a Chris Chandler drop. Atlanta Falcons.
That's a good one. And I get it.
Sam Bradford.
But can't you overlook the injuries with when he's healthy, he's dynamite? Or are you at the point now where you're expecting him to get hurt? Are you 49er fan sitting there going, it's not if, it's when. And it's going to happen at some time between now and December, and so I better get Trey Lance ready to go.
No.
If that's the case, by the way, you should have taken Mac Jones because he'd give you a better chance to get to the Super Bowl.
Stop it. Mac Jones is giving you the same chance as Trey Lance.
No.
Mac
They're
Jones
not the same
is
quarterback
come on.
right now.
Mac Jones ain't giving you. Come on. If Mac Jones is on the 49ers behind this offensive line, all right, Mike McGlinchey playing right tackle, you need Trey to be able to escape. That's the thing in today's NFL. Yeah, he's okay in the run game. Pass game's something else, though. Let's go to Lori in Phoenix. You got your bulletproof vest on, Coles?
Lori, there's someone who texted earlier today said, I followed Lori on Twitter just based on that call.
See, I'm getting popular just because of you.
Exactly. See? I know. Gosh.
Good morning, Lori.
Good morning. So anyway, I just wanted to talk. I'll try to take it easy on you, Coz, except for the whole Mac Jones thing. I think with Mac Jones, he better call Tom Brady and get on his diet, because if he's going to come in the shape that he's in, Mr. Flabby, he starts taking hits from the ones, he's not going to last very long.
Wait a minute, Flabby? You're saying Mac Jones is flabby?
Yeah. Have you seen pictures of Mac Jones?
Yeah, his body looked like mine.
Not the best of shape.
That's not good.
He's not in the best of shapes. Yeah, he's not.
Get off McCorkle.
So to be able to take the hits, I'm just saying, I'd much rather have a quarterback that is equipped to take hits, and Trey Lance is going to be that in the future. Now, about Jimmy, I don't understand where the fan base has gone with Jimmy. I was fine with keeping Jimmy before they moved up in the draft. I understood why. I think the reason they decided to move up in the first place is because they saw an opportunity to move up. They had a bad season, so they just went ahead and made the business decision to move up. I don't think that the coaching staff is like, oh, we're totally done with Jimmy. I mean, he did just take him to the Super Bowl in 2019. I don't care if it was a running game. I don't care if it was a defense. If Jimmy was a terrible quarterback, the way a lot of the fan base makes him out to be, we wouldn't have gone there. We wouldn't have gotten there. The Seattle game and the Saints game were two very important games that we had to have, or we wouldn't have taken the division. So to say that Jimmy isn't a good quarterback, I mean, look at his numbers in 2019. He's a good quarterback. Now, is he dazzling? No. Is he top 5? No. Is he elite? No. And I think the fan base really wants the Steve Young, Joe Montana, that dynasty. They want that quarterback to come back, kind of like Cap when he came in. It was like, ooh, look at this guy. So, but, you have to remember the years that we had guys like Brian Hoyer, where you had Blaine Gabbert, where you didn't have a quarterback that could even win you games. The Nick Mullins experiment last year went terribly wrong. You don't want that. So having a guy like Jimmy and saying we're just going to throw him away is stupid, because you could be much worse off. So for me, I'm perfectly happy. You took Trey. Let Trey develop into the quarterback you want him to be. Let Jimmy win for you now. You're set up. You got the run game going. You got a great defense. Your O-line is hopefully fixed. It's a little bit sketchy. There's still some issues there. So hopefully they can keep Jimmy healthy behind it and make a Super Bowl run, and then go from there. See what I mean? If you end up in the Super Bowl and you win the Super Bowl, well, we got a whole other thing to argue about. But to me, right now, it's Jimmy's team until Trey is ready, and then we go from there.
Great call, Lori.
Except I just want you to know the 415's calling you out, Lori, with the fat shaming. Oh, that's very unacceptable, Lori. Fat shaming, I'm a McCorkle. How can you do that to the poor kid?
He's got roles like me, man. He's got roles like me playing NFL quarterback. That's not good.
You guys are terrible.
We are terrible human beings. But going back to Jimmy Garoppolo 2019, since we're here, and Danker kind of lit a fire under me talking about, he didn't do much in 2019. You look at the last 9 games. Remember that stretch, Coles? Everybody said, boy, the Niners are entering the toughest stretch we've ever seen in NFL history when you look at the second half of the season. We're going to see if they're a fluke or not. They're 7-1. Let's see if they're a fluke. Well, he starts off throwing for over 300 yards against Arizona, 4 touchdowns. Feels great, baby. Remember that game, Thursday Night Football?
Yeah, what did he say to Aaron
Feels
Andrews?
Great, baby.
Yeah.
Feels great, baby.
I love that.
Right? 2 weeks later, gets Arizona. Throws for 424. 424. 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. They had no running game that day. Goes down to New Orleans. 349. 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. 349 against that Saints defense that year. Then, of course, against Seattle, 18-22, 285. The biggest games of the season. Jimmy did show up. Now, a lot of people are saying, he struggled in that postseason. Because you watch a lot more football than I have. I'm not trying to age shame you here, but you've seen it before. Peyton Manning, first postseason. Bounced, one and done. Struggled a lot. Couldn't get over the hump in New England. I watched Steve Young win an MVP in 92. And what did he do in his first postseason? Struggle against Washington and lose to the Cowboys. And look bad. It happens to the best of them.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. It does. Heck, you take one of the great quarterbacks of all time, Troy Aikman. His first year, he was 1-15.
Yep.
Right? He took a battering, but eventually became the great quarterback that he was because they put the infrastructure around him. At that time, the thought was push him all in, give him all the experience you need. If he's got to get his head kicked in a little bit, he's got to get his head kicked in a little bit, but it'll make him the better quarterback. There are other places, like in Kansas City, which is more recent, where they said the best quarterback in the game right now is Patrick Mahomes, and he had to sit for a year and learn the speed of the NFL. Now teams think they might want to do that. But the financial way the NFL game is played is you need a quarterback on his rookie scale deal to put all the talent around him. Trey Lance better. I don't think he's going to be ready. Here's my fear. My fear is they're going to rush him in, and it's going to throw him off. It's like bringing a guy up from AAA too early. He's hitting 350 in AAA, and he comes to the bigs, and he's never seen an Uncle Charlie like that, and he goes down, and we never hear from him again.
Because he ain't no Joey Bart. He ain't no
he
Joey
could be
Bart.
Joey Bart.
Trey Lance got the moxie.
He could be Joey Bart.
You heard about the podium? You heard what he had to say at the podium?
He sounds like a likable young man.
Yep. Seasoned vet.
He sounds like a likable young man.
Trey Lance, nothing about him looks right up. Look, the Chargers game in the preseason got off to a very bumpy start. Very bumpy start. And what did he do? Responded like a true pro. I think Trey Lance is going to be fine once he's entered the game. Let's go up to Sacramento, get to Joe and Benji before we get Pavs on here. Joe, what's happening, man? You're on the roast with Coles and Bonte.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I try to listen to you guys on the radio here, 95.7 out here in the Valley, but it gets...
Get that audio. Hey, get Joe. Get the Odyssey app. Get the Odyssey app.
Yeah, that's what I'm listening right now.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's funny. It gets mixed up with a Mexican station. It's pretty funny, but you know what tells me about...
Is it Mexican sports? Is it Spanish sports talk?
Are they talking about Chivas?
Yeah, a little Chivas action.
Little Chivas.
Little Liga MX.
Yeah. It sounds like it's just kind of like morning news.
Okay.
From what I can interpret, I know some Spanish, but but yeah, like, you know, what tells me about Jimmy G and just the team in general. You guys remember like all the bounty hits that the NFL used to talk about,
right? When
they wanted to take out players and stuff. You know, what I really noticed in the 2019 season, especially in that playoff stretch, first game against the Vikings, I was at that game, and Jimmy G drops back, and his defensive end just throws his 300-something pound body right into his plantar foot. And as soon as that hit happened, you know, Jimmy was like limping around, and then Kyle was just like, "Hey, we're just going to run it pretty much the rest of the game." You know, against the Packers, the next playoff game.
No, I hear you, Joe. We got to run here. We got to pick up the energy here. Good call. Call us back. Not to be rude here, but Minnesota had a very good defense that year. How do we forget that? It's not like the Minnesota Vikings came in Levi Stadium was just, these are the big bad 49ers.
Yeah.
We're going to lay down. No. The Vikings had a very good defense. Very good.
Vikings were very good. Yes, they were. They were a good team. Well, you know what? Again, we're revising history on the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo, and I just don't buy it. And here's from the 650, my buddy Matsuyama Mike. He says, how'd your boy Alex Smith fare in the playoffs, Coz? The year he was in Kansas City, he led him to the playoffs, and he got him a huge lead. The defense gave the lead up. He didn't give the lead up. The defense gave the lead up.
Right.
All right? Sure, he wasn't a winner. He didn't win. And also agree that respect on the comeback. But don't think Kansas City's template isn't watched by everyone else in the National Football League.
Right.
All right? Now, I do think I'd rather have Trey Lance than, say, the kid Jordan Love from the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I think they outkicked their coverage by moving into the late first round, taking a guy. They wasted a pick right there.
Wasted.
Yeah. So I'll take you. I'll give you that. But I just don't think it's time for us to start throwing it in number 5's hands. Just don't ask number 5 to be anything for you this year. If he gives you a little something, consider it a bonus.
All right, my boy Oscar in EPA. What up, Oscar? He says Chivas sucks. You should root for Atlas. I root for Tottenham Hotspur. I watched the Premier
League. You're a Tottenham
guy.
guy.
Tottenham
I like
guy.
it. I'm
We'll
a
see
Man
Chelsea.
U man.
You're a Man U? Oh, man, you just got Cristiano Ronaldo. Chelsea, Langford, Chelsea.
I hate Chelsea.
Curly?
I hate Chelsea. I hate Chelsea at Man City.
All right. Yeah. Well, you don't hate Tottenham. That's a good thing. What's coming up on the game brought to you by Harris Ranch Beef. Alex Pavlovic. We'll talk some Giants. Who the hell is pitching today? I want to hear from Pavs.
That's a good question.
I want to hear from Pavs. Who's pitching at Harris Ranch Beef? They do beef, right? Beef that's raised locally, right here in California. Tender steaks, awesome burgers, and California classics like tri-tip roast. Flavor you crave, quality you trust. Find a store near you at harrisranchbeef.com.
Listen to Steiny, Dibs, and
awesome last night. 9 strikeouts. And we are trying to figure out who's going to toe the rubber tonight for the Giants. They bullpenned it yesterday, Coles. Probably going to bullpen it again today. Let's go to our 95.7 The Game Major League Baseball insider and NBC Sports Bay Area Giants insider Alex Pavlovic here on the Morning Roast with Coles and Bonte. Pavs, good morning. How you doing? What's going on today with the Giants, man? We have no idea what's going on right now.
I think this is one of those days where I show up to the ballpark and then figure out what's going on. I could not tell you. I could not tell you who's going to start tonight. I can't even tell you what the lineup's going to look like. They have guys in and out. So, but that's normal. I think the rotation thing is something where literally, it's going to be Johnny Cueto. How do you feel at 3 p.m. today?
Wow. So Johnny Cueto, there is a possibility he could get to start if he feels good.
Yeah, I think, they were holding out hope for that yesterday. He was going to continue to get tested, but the fact that he was in the clubhouse last night and at least it sounded like he was with the trainers, I think that's a good sign just in terms of, whether this is a COVID-related thing or not. So if he's just sick, that's something where you hope that you get a lot of fluids in him, which they did last night, and hope that he can come back on Tuesday and at least be okay to give you 3 or 4 innings, go out there. I know Johnny's somebody who will try if he can. So it would be huge for them. It's kind of a roster crunch if he can't go.
Overall health of this team, though, Alex, it's we saw him get Chris Bryant back the other day. Is that a he's healthy back every day thing, or is he still going to be day to day? And just the overall health that Gabe Kapler has to deal with when he's putting his lineup card together.
Yeah, Bryant looked great last night. I thought he was, maybe their best player last night. We saw everything he did offensively and defensively. It's funny that everything that happened yesterday, I actually was looking at the game notes as I walked into the park, and you look at it and you look at their injured list, and basically everybody who was left on their injured list, except for Evan Longoria and Donovan Solano, obviously, is kind of these young guys who they're stashing on the 60-day IL, and, Daniel Nunez, who was there in spring training. So I was looking at it yesterday, and I'm like, they are remarkably healthy heading into September, but obviously we know what happens, not just in baseball, but I think with this team we've seen a lot this year, and they've been careful. So, have 3 more guys go down yesterday, it puts you in a tight spot. But I think when you look at where they are compared to some other teams, they have to feel pretty good about their health at this point.
There's no doubt about that. Posey, look, the last 7 days, not only just Posey, but Crawford. He's been slumping a little bit over the last 7. What's going on with Crawford? Do you think he needs a day off, as the Giants don't have a day off until Thursday, September 9th?
He might. He might be. I talked to him yesterday. I think he's doing okay. It's just, it's one of those things, he's hitting 290, I think. So
right. Yeah, overall, it's great. He's still an MVP candidate.
Yeah. I know I saw some stats for the last, on the road trip, I think he went 5 for 26 or something like that. But before that, he was hitting 430 for a month. So I just think we're kind of in that swing of the season where guys are going to have a down week, guys are going to have an up week. We've seen it from everybody. Basically, this whole lineup, you've seen them. They go up and down. I think the strength of this lineup is that they have so many guys that at any one time you feel pretty good about 6 or 7 of them. But with those 2 guys in particular, I never really worry about what they give offensively. It's great what they've given, but Crawford's such a difference maker, especially up the middle. And that's why it's the same thing with Bruce Bochy. He always wanted to give him days off, but you sit there and actually start putting your lineup together, and you're like, well, I can't do this without Brandon Crawford. I need his glove in there at the very least. So I think they're not worried about that at all. The whole team, frankly, it's going to get to a point pretty soon where they could use that off day, but they still have another week, and they still have Coors Field. So we're going to see more of this, I think, before they get to that next Thursday.
Well, I know this is crazy because no one series is bigger than the next, but these next 2 series, Milwaukee and the Dodgers, these are 2 of the best teams in the National League. Is this, in some ways, a good time to get these 2 teams just to kind of refocus your club and maybe remind yourselves you can be a pretty darn good team? You've had the best record in baseball for most of the year. It's just that, Alex, I think everyone's they're waiting on the inevitable. Finally, sooner or later, everyone thinks the Dodgers are going to catch them. But is this maybe an important week for the Giants to rework themselves into believing, hey, we are still the team to beat in the National League?
I think, and I've said this, over and over again, and this is how I feel about them not altering the rotation this week to move Logan Webb and Kevin Gausman back. I think this group goes day to day, every single day, no matter who they're playing. And I think that's why they've been in first place all summer, because they don't worry about that. They don't view this is a big week. I mean, sure, you look out and you see Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff, and you know the Dodgers are coming in. They're going to feel something a little bit different this weekend, but they are going to worry about tonight's game, and then they will worry about tomorrow's game. And no matter what happens tonight, they're going to shake it off. We've just seen that all year, and to me, it's what's been so remarkable about them is how consistent they've been. I mean, we have not had a stretch of more than maybe 4 or 5 days where you think they're playing not very good baseball, and there hasn't really been a stretch either where they won. You know, with the Dodgers, we've seen them a couple times run off 9-10 games in a row. But the Giants just kind of chug along. They take series. If they lose a series, they still win one of the games. They take, 4, 5 games every single week, and then they move on to the next week. So I really don't think they're viewing this as anything bigger than it is, and I think they're just trying to get wins here and continue to bank wins. They certainly know the Dodgers are coming, and I think that anxiety is coming really from the fan base because they just see the Dodgers basically winning every night, and they see that lineup they're putting out there in Scherzer and Buehler, and you do assume at some point that they're just going to catch this group. But they haven't done it yet, and I think a big part of that is because the Giants really don't think about that stuff too much.
Alex Pavlovic here on the Morning Roast with Coles at Bontown 95.7 The Game. He's a Giants insider for NBC Sports Bay Area. And you're right, Coles. Like, they've been consistent. I saw a number last week where I think it was on NBC Sports Bay Area. I could have saw it there or Twitter or somebody. But the Dodgers, the Brooklyn Dodgers back in 1942 were the last National League team to go through the first 5 months of the season with a winning percentage over 600. And I was like, damn. Like, as you mentioned, no 10-game winning streaks, no 11-game winning streaks, but the consistency here. But the fans now, I saw some tweets last night, 1993. Oh, man, the Giants are going to blow this here. So how do they survive the month of September as the schedule will lighten up a little bit, but how do they get to the finish line here with the rotation that's a little beat up, some of the lineup a little bit beat up here? Is it the day-to-day operation? How do they do it? How do they get to the finish line and win the West?
Yeah, I actually don't even think the schedule gets that much lighter. I know people are looking at it that way, but this Padres team is going to be desperate.
Yeah,
you're right. 10 more times. I mean, that's a team that is fighting for their life and trying to avoid falling out of the playoffs when they were supposed to potentially win the division. And then 6 games at Coors Field, it seems like a good thing on paper, but the Rockies are like a playoff team at home, and they're terrible on the road. So those are kind of where I think the Giants, they're not going to worry too much about the Dodgers this weekend because they know next week the Rockies series might be even harder given that they're going to Denver. So I just think they're going to continue to go day by day. And look, I would not be surprised if at some point this week or even tonight, we see somebody come up like Chatwood did and pitch 4 innings and then he gets DFA'd, something like that. They go day by day and try to bank those wins. And I know the anxiety is there about the Dodgers and about potentially getting caught, but look, this team's going to be in the playoffs one way or another. I think people have to, keep that in mind. Remember where we were supposed to be at this point, and just if they're in the wild card game and they're playing the Reds or the Padres, that's a very successful season, and they have a really good shot if they throw Logan Webb in that game. So that's not the end goal here, but I just think that's how they're, how fans have to view it the next month. It's going to be great if they can hold off the Dodgers down the stretch, but I wouldn't worry too much, I guess, about what happens over the next few weeks because this team's going to be playing in October, whether it's October 6th or it's October 8th. They're going to be playing.
All right, September, you get the call-ups, but it's not like the good old days when you could call up an army of guys and you can run as many out there as you want and as many arms as you want. It's limited. How much of a disadvantage does that put the Giants in, especially since they're the team that tends to grind as much as any team out there? Wouldn't it have been a better circumstance for them to have maybe bring up more than just a couple of guys, bring in a fistful of guys, and that would give Farhan and Gabe more guys that they can kind of hunt and peck with on their roster? I don't know if the September call-ups mean the same thing that they used to mean 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I shudder a little bit to think about how many moves we would see during every single game if you gave Gabe 40 players. So it would just be, he would have Duggar up here that have Estrada, Dubon. I mean, they would be using pinch hitters, pinch runners, defensive replacements.
5.5-hour game.
Yeah, it would. So to your point, it does impact them. I think it probably impacts them at this point more than maybe anybody in baseball, just because they do use that depth and they are so aggressive with pinch hitters, and they could use the pitching help up here, but everybody could use the pitching help at this point. But I really think you would see a situation, and I'm sure they would consider this even when they go to 28, where There are days where you add 2 position players instead of, everybody would think you're going to add pitching depth in September. I think they really like having the position players. They really like having the ability to pinch hit 2-3 guys in a row, to pinch run if Buster Posey gets on base and you can run for him with somebody and then have a pinch hitter coming up. So it does affect them. I think it is. Personally, I thought the 40-man thing was ridiculous. We just saw these games that were 4 or 5 hours, and you'd see a million roster moves. It is nice to reward guys, but 28 is also maybe not enough. But I also think we've seen with this group, those last 2 guys are probably going to be shuffling in and out all of September, depending on what they need. So it will be a boost to them, and even one roster spot at this point is a boost. I mean, they can always use that guy and create. I've never seen anything really. The Dodgers have done this a little bit. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like what the Giants and Farhan and Scott Harris have done over the last few months, just taking advantage of that 26th spot every single day, to the point that guys get a booster shot for the vaccine, and they're out until their next start, and then somebody else takes that spot for 3 days. So I think they'll find a way to make this work in September, but certainly they would tell you they would love to have 40 players in there.
Paz, before we get you out of here, you have a good barometer of how this fan base reacts to everything. And I wonder, with all the winning and being in first place, basically going into September, when they start, September 1st rolls around, which is tomorrow, Giants will be in first place. How will the fans react to this team if they get to October and it's a quick exit? Has the expectations been reset by the fans? Do they expect a World Series appearance by being the best team in baseball over the last 4 months? Where are the fans' heads at right now as we roll into September?
I think it's split. I think there's a group that's very happy to be here and understands that these guys have arrived a year ahead of time, and that no matter what happens this season, what you're seeing foundationally here, what you're seeing from the front office, what you're seeing from this coaching staff is sustainable. And that is, it might be different players next year. It might be, half the roster might be turned over, but it's sustainable what they're building here. They have built a winner very quickly, and they are going to be a winner going forward. I think there's a lot of fans who understand that, are just enjoying the ride. I also think there are a lot of fans, because I see them every single night, who have gone from thinking this team was going to lose, 90 games, 85 games, to thinking this team has a shot to win the World Series, and rightfully so. But that has led to a position where I do think a lot of people would be disappointed if there was an early exit. I mean, we see it. I see it last night. People who want Mike Yastrzemski, out of the lineup. People want Alex Dickerson DFA'd because of a couple rough at-bats there in the 7th inning. And certainly those guys haven't been up to their past expectations. But, Yaz in particular is still a very good player. I just think the bar has been raised very quickly here. And some people are maybe getting a little bit dizzy as they go up and have forgotten that this team was not supposed to be good this year. This team was not supposed to be in playoff contention until 2022, really, and that's how people have always viewed it. So I would just encourage people to enjoy the ride, and it really, really looks like we're headed for Giants-Dodgers at some point in the postseason. And for me, that's kind of, I think that's can't lose. You either beat the Dodgers, or you got to the postseason and lost to a team that basically is an all-star team. So I just think people should enjoy the ride a little bit more. I know it is hard. I know that the definition of fandom and why people are tuning in every night. But look, this team is, like you said, they're going to enter September with the best record in baseball. That's pretty incredible.
No, it really is. And if we get that Dodgers-Giants postseason series for the first time since these teams moved to the West Coast, that's going to be riveting stuff right there. Dodgers-Giants, of course, we'll see that on the weekend, but the Brewers are in the way. There's been 4 good games with the Brewers so far this season. So, Brandon Woodruff on the mound today. Hopefully we see Cueto. Paz, good stuff as always, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, guys.
All right, here's one thing that I want to go through with what he just said. If they get to the play-in game and they lose, it's still a really good season. You know what? If they had been fighting with the Padres for second and third all year long and eventually made it into the wild card and they lost, you know what I'd have said? That's a heck of a good year. But you know what you did? You teased me. You made me believe in you. You made me fall in love. You led Major League. You didn't lead the division. You didn't lead the National League. You led Major League Baseball with the best record in the game for 4.5 months a year.
Playing with my heart, Coles.
Don't get me to the play-in game, lose, and tell me it was a good year. I'm sorry. That's the only bone I'd pick with my man Alex, and he and I are good buddies from over at NBC. But I got to tell you something. This team has got to get deep into the playoffs. I'm sorry. If you don't, you know what you are? You're the Oakland A's.
Oh.
Because every year the Oakland A's give me the same year. They have a great thrilling run. They have an exciting time in September. They make it into that play-in game, and then they got to fly to New York and they got to lose to the Yankees. And then they got to play somebody and lose to them. And then they got to bullpen the game. Then they got to give me an opener. Then they got to start the wrong guy. Then they got Liam Hendricks on the mound, and they should have given the ball to Mike Fiers. I'm telling you, stay out of the wild card game. Don't lose the wild card and call me and say, boy, that was a great year. Didn't we have a fun year? No. You know what you had? 163 games.
Oh.
And you know what the Chicago Cubs had, who are the worst team in the National League? 162. All your fun and games got you one extra game.
Oh.
So I'm bringing you the real deal. Don't have the best record in baseball and then lose in the wild card game. Then it's a failed year.
You know what, Coles? I don't agree with you much. The McCorkle Jones takes, the Trey Lance takes, the Jimmy takes, the Sudfeld takes. A lot of things you say, I'm like, oh, boy, Coles, come on. Split hats, flat bills, you name it. I'm riding with you on this one.
Yeah, you are.
It's NLCS or bust for me. You don't get to the NLCS.
I agree.
At least at NLCS, then it is a disappointment. And don't tell me that, hey, whatever happens, happens. Next year, the pressure's going to be, well, next year ain't guaranteed. Gosman, they may not be the same Gosman next year. Logan Webb, we'll see what happens next year with Logan Webb. Cueto's going to be gone. Wood's probably going to be gone. What's up with Anthony DeSclafani? He hasn't been the same guy from the first half of the season.
Good point.
You know, like Buster Posey, he's going to be a year older. Crawford, is he going to bat 290 again next year?
Boy,
Crawford,
you know what?
This year's an outlier for Crawford when it comes to batting average.
I think it is. He found lightning in a bottle. He was trending down, and then all of a sudden he's having himself an MVP-like year. I hope it lasts, but I can't count on it.
Chris Bryant, is he going to sign that mega deal with the Giants?
I think he will. That is a piece that I truly believe he will be a Giant for years to come.
That's good. That's good then. But
and I believe that. I'm not just saying that. I believe it.
But if the Giants lose a division, after leading this division, since May, Coles? It's basically May. Winning over 60% of their games in every month of the season so far. And you go in there and lose a playing game, Bonte Hill won't be happy.
Nope.
That to me, I'm with it, Coles. That's disappointing.
If I'm Giants fan at 888-957-9570, if I'm Giants fan, are you going to say to me, you know what though, Coles? I didn't expect him to have this great year. I was in on the ride.
Yeah.
It was fun seeing different guys. Talkman's winning me a series over here, and Slater's winning me a series over here, and Yaz is winning me a series. And then I got a chance to see Crawford and Posey be the Crawford and Posey I remember from when they won 3 championships. Yeah, that 6-month ride was a magic carpet, baby. I'll take it, even though they lost in the first round of the playoffs in a 1-game play-in. If you did that, that's up to you. I ain't going to be happy.
I won't be happy at all. I think that's disappointing.
I think you teased me.
Game.
You flirted with me.
Yeah.
I said I use this analogy
And nobody
before.
likes getting their heart broken.
No, you flirted with me. You know what? You took one button down on your blouse. You lifted the skirt a little, let me see a little thigh. And then all of a sudden you ran out the door. That's what happened. And then I got shut down. Right? That's just teasing me.
It's not like that. That's the worst, isn't it?
That's bad.
That's the worst.
That's bad.
It's bad.
I thought I was in.
Thought you were in?
I'm not in.
Thought you were in the game?
Thought I was in the game.
Thought you were in?
Had
a starting
you know
spot?
What? I was going to the bullpen, bringing the closer. I was bringing in the closer.
Instead, you got cut.
Boom.
You got DFA'd.
I got DFA'd. Yep. I didn't see it coming.
Giants Brewers. Man, that would hurt.
Misreading the room,
you
man.
got my mind going to other places right now, Coach. Man, let's bring this thing back. Let's put the train back on the tracks. Giants Brewers today, 6:45. Johnny Cueto out with the cold. He was scratched yesterday. Alex Wood on the COVID-19 list. Brandon Woodruff on the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers. And look, we thought Burns was nasty. Woodruff is just as nasty, Coles. His ERA, even though he has an 8-7 record, 2.38 ERA, and his whip is even lower than Burns. It's 0.93.
All right.
0.93. In 151 innings, 177 strikeouts, 37 walks. He is a lefty. So, he's a righty. So we'll see about Woodruff tonight on the mound. We'll see who the Giants play, or start at in the top of the first, whether it's Cueto or another bullpen game. We'll see. But they got to get the bats rolling. You got to hit Woodruff. You got to send the Brewers a message saying, hey, If we see you in October and you send Brandon Woodruff out there, we're going to rough him up. And that's what I want to see tonight at Oracle Park.
I'd like to see some runs. I mean, you've got 18 innings with 1 run to show for it over the last couple of ball games. I don't know if that means you got to bunt the guy over or bunt the guy in or do something just to get the trolley moving down the tracks. But you can't start tonight like you started last night. I look up, it's 2-0 all of a sudden, and I got a pitcher who's getting RBI singles. Listen, you can't fall behind early and expect to come back against the staff like the Milwaukee Brewers have. Strike first. Give your guy. You don't know who's pitching for you. Now, maybe internally they do. But once you get to the pitchers, you know you're not going to get a guy who's going 8 innings tonight, and then you're handing the ball over to the closer. What you are going to do is need to have an army of guys getting it through for you, but you got to give them some run support. Because until you give them run support, you're going to be in a bad way, and now's not the week to be in a bad way.
Now is not the week, Langford. Now is not the week. Giants up 1.5 games on the L.A. Dodgers. Brewers in town. Then you got Coors Field. I'm glad Pavs looked at Coors because this is something we talked about earlier. They got to go to Colorado 6 times in September. I remember back in '98 when they blew an 8-0 lead on the last day of the regular season and had to play a play-in game with the Chicago Cubs. Remember that, Coles?
Yeah, I remember.
Steve Traxel had pitched the game of his life. That sucked. If you're a Giants fan, that really sucked.
Good.
Coors Field, it sucks. I hate Coors Field. I don't hate
Coors Field is a pain.
It is a pain.
It's not baseball. And you come out of that series, you know what? Who do they have after that series? I just had their schedule up a second ago. Oh, boy, are we lucky for this. They get the Cubs after that.
Yeah.
Because coming out of a series in Colorado, you are tired. They are long games.
Yep.
You're standing around.
Yep.
You seem to swing differently, even though you don't need to. You do. Everything is different about a 3-game series.
Bullpen gets taxed.
Exactly. So you're exhausted and you don't feel right. They're lucky that they get to go to the home of the worst team in the National League, the Chicago Cubs.
Man, the Cubs, I'm looking at their staff. They're giving up runs after run. The White Sox scored in double digits, 2 out of 3 games? Or did all 3? Or did you just tap on the Cubs, Coles?
You know what? I'm thinking of going to Chicago that weekend. I might start one of those games. I might start for the Cubs one of those games.
Coles is not watching 9 innings of Cubs baseball right now.
I am not watching 9 innings of Cubs. I cannot name 5 members of the Cubs. You know?
Oh, this is a great question that's going to stir the pot on Twitter. Our boy Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk.
Let's hear it.
You sure you want to hear this?
He's got great hair, I'll tell you that.
I don't think Niner fans want to hear this.
He's got bad takes, but great hair.
I said what I said.
Oh, yeah, that's when we had an argument on air.
You had an argument with him on the air?
We went at it.
What I said.
Really?
Yeah, he almost hung up the phone.
Good.
I got in his grill.
It's about time someone got in his grill.
Rattled his cage.
What was it about?
What was it? Was it about Jimmy G? I was defending Jimmy G, right, Langford?
Yeah, and it was some report with Kirk Cousins, and then it turned into this Jimmy G argument, and then it turned into him saying this.
I said what I said.
I said what I said, Mike Florio.
He's got a little I'm smarter than you.
He does.
He's got a little I'm smarter than you.
Well, he's just tweeted out, if there were to be a 2021 redraft today, where would Mac Jones be taken?
He must be listening to the show. Thanks. You're welcome, Mike.
Thanks for the
You're
content.
welcome. I appreciate that.
I said what I said.
I love that. You know what? If you were to redraft, that's a good question. I don't think anyone would change. I don't think anyone would change. I honestly think in Jacksonville, I think they believe their guy. I think the guy they saw go 11 of 12 in the final preseason game is their guy.
Yeah.
And I think with Robert Saleh, I think the guy they saw make the throw. So I think he was one of the best. I think he might have been overall the best rookie quarterback in the preseason. But he made some throws that made you believe, you know what, Jets? We got a quarterback. We made the right call. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan is never going to admit that he made the wrong call to give up 3 first-round picks for a small college quarterback. All right? Which I think is a fair assessment. Don't you think that's fair?
The way you throw that out there, man. This kind of bugs me. Small college quarterback. National champion quarterback in Trey Lance.
They lost, and he didn't show up for the year. He showed
James
up for
Madison.
one game.
They beat James
This
Madison
year?
last year.
Okay.
When he played his full season, they beat James Madison.
2 years. You know what? The 49ers are Super Bowl champions.
Hey, you know what?
It happened in 89.
Guess what?
It didn't happen the last 2 times they went, but they're Super Bowl champions.
Small college quarterback didn't throw a pick all season.
He played one game.
I'm saying, you did in that game. A couple years ago.
Wait until you see a Trey Ono throw. Are we going to say
it? Can't be worse than Jimmy Garoppolo. At least a defender will have a chance to drop it because you know what? The ball's coming out too hot. It's too much velocity out there. Too much velo.
That's right. His velo is going to be way too much for any defensive back. So you're right. He's going to have fewer interceptions for that purpose alone. But the rest of the quarterbacks, the Bears legitimately think they got the best quarterback of the lot, which I think they're kidding themselves. And like I said, there's no stinking. And then there's Mac Jones. And you know what? He starts. He's the biggest story in the NFL right now. He's the biggest story in the NFL. And we're getting a lot of this on the text line at 888-957-9570. Well, the thing about Cam Newton and the vaccine, do you think that is really a deciding factor in A, him getting cut from New England, and B, maybe the determining factor as to whether or not he gets picked up at all because of the vaccine situation? And I'm not trying to get political about this at all. I am not. Right. You choose to do what you want to do out there in the world. I'm not telling you if you should or you shouldn't. You do what you do. I did what I did, and you do what you do. But I'm just wondering, do you think it played a role in him getting released by New England? Now, it could be that New England said, we really like you. You've made a life choice, and that's fine with us. But we can't live our league on our year wondering if our backup or our starter is going to be available to us. Right. We're just making a prudent football decision. We're not making a determination on what you're choosing to do with your body.
It's a good point, Coles, because they also experienced Cam Newton missing games last year because of COVID-19. Yeah. He missed games, and it kind of derailed their season. And they had to play that Monday game in Kansas City. He's not available all of a sudden, and they lose to the Chiefs, and boom, their season's done. Season starts going down the drain. Niners beat him up. He looks awful. There could be something to that. And they probably said, you know what? It's not worth the baggage. It's not worth the baggage, baby. I don't know. There's got to be something more to this story, though.
You know, it is interesting because he could be a qualified backup if he's willing to be, you know, the Carmelo Anthony, as you say. If he's willing to finally take the Carmelo Anthony role and say, I can still make $2 million a year holding the clipboard. The competitiveness in him wants to play every week.
Right.
But right now, maybe his skill set isn't there.
Maybe
but
not.
He could be a great change of pace guy for a certain team.
Heard Cowboys may be looking at him.
Why not?
Back up to Dak.
Why not?
By the way, Trent Taylor cut by the Cincinnati Bengals. Remember Trent Taylor was supposed to be the next Wes Welker with the 49ers?
Yes.
Where he's been cut by the Bengals. Nick Mullins picked up by the Cleveland Browns. He's on their practice squad. Nick Mullins.
Really?
I'm shocked by that.
That's some hot NFL news.
I thought he'd be selling insurance at Geico this week.
Hey, you did.
I did.
You thought he was going to be off.
I thought he was done.
It's interesting that Cleveland picks him up, though. Like, what is Cleveland seeing in him? Are they going to be able to stash him and they think, you know what, maybe his elbow's not healed, maybe he needs the right procedure? Because he didn't get TJ surgery. He got a fusion of something in his elbow. Maybe he just doesn't have the arm strength.
I don't think he ever did. Showdown time here on the Morning Roast. Coles and Bonte. Who we got today? Who do we have? Showdown time. Hello?
Guru, you can speak now.
What's up, baby? What's up?
Where you at, Guru? Surprise.
Hey,
the anticipation there, the drama. Guru.
Yeah, I know.
Man, I'm like, is it Dibley? I thought for sure it was Dibley after I heard the hesitation. But it's Guru.
No. Yeah, and I got some bullets in my chamber for one of my good friends, Coles Award. Coles, you cannot claim Mac Jones. And I heard you coming at me, and I loved every minute of it. But I was in love, and I'm projecting what Trey Lance has after he threw the 80-yarder in the legs. So I envisioned what he can be with the Niners, and I think he could take this team just as far as Jimmy can if he were to get the opportunity it looks like he's not going to get. But for you to put up those cockamamie preseason rankings, Coles, that hurt me. Wasn't no way your team, Fields, and Lance at the bottom. That hurt me, Coles. Please explain yourself.
I'm telling you, you got to speak truth to power, Guru. You got to do that. And if you look at the body of work that these guys were showing on the field, it is clear. You just said it. 80-yard bomb. He threw it 40 yards in the air.
and out through the defenders. And that's what you want.
Nick
Receiver,
Mullins makes that throw.
Oh, stop. We hadn't seen that. I figured you out, Coz. When everybody's in the pool, you don't want to jump in, Bonte. He's that guy.
He's got a little
so he goes the other way.
No wonder
I didn't figure him out.
Hey, no wonder Steiny and Coles get along so well. Two-piece from a pod.
He and I got tea times this afternoon of 3:30.
Exactly, two-piece from a pod.
Yeah, I'm his new Dibley.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, he dumped Dibley down.
I love it.
Damn.
I got to ask, Bonte, go ahead. Go, you know I'm excited. No, go.
Cam Newton cut. What's your thought? Mac Jones now starting at quarterback.
You
could have had pressure.
Hey, you could have stayed at 12 and had Mac Jones. Instead, you gave up 3 number ones, Goo.
Hey, I'm
Take
not a
that,
hater,
rat.
Coz. Bonte, you know I'm not. I'm going to say this. Mac Jones, I know it's just preseason. He looks like Bill Belichick, the hoodie, could get the last laugh. He looks ready. I'm Malcolm X when I need to be. And for the race baiters out there, this Cam, him getting cut, his arm is shot, is wrecked. He's not as athletic as he used to be. I hate it for him. Maybe he ends up in Dallas. But that he was skipping throws again the last preseason game into the ground. And you guys talked about being vaccinated. I'm about to get my second shot. I done threw the conspiracy book out the window. Who cares? Kirk Cousins is not vaccinated, and he still has a job in Minnesota. So to me, this is about football. Cam is shot, guys. He is.
Well, that's too bad because I'm a Cam Newton guy. I really liked watching him play the position. I thought he was another guy who could transform the position just a little bit. He was, to me, when and I'm not a Carolina guy. When he was with Carolina, I'd watch him because MVP. I like him.
Yeah. Bonte, do you feel bad for him, or you think, like you said, Dallas? I think that could happen.
Dallas make happen. I don't know. Guru.
But wait, hold on. You gave me the Cousins comparison. Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Cam Newton.
That he is, but I was just talking about the vaccination status, Coz. Like, if that was that's not the reason he's not quarterbacking in New England to me. But, Coz, before I get out of here, the streets are talking. We had a fantasy football draft. People don't know this, went to put change in your meter and saw that big body Mercedes you drive. And for you to do auto draft, Bonte, this guy asked before the draft, can I do it by phone? But for you to quit, that hurts, Coz.
Dude, you guys
send to
stuck
your
it to
daughters that you're going to quit a league that hasn't even started yet because you didn't know or make time for it or the commitment. Come on.
Okay, let's put the rat on the table. Put the rat on the table. You guys have a 14-team league. You asked 28 people to play in your league and couldn't get 14.
Oh, damn.
You guys asked the overnight guy at the rock and roll station to be in the league, and he turned you down. You finally came to me, and I said, fine. But it's like 4 hours before the draft. Fine, I'll do it. And I just want to be part of the team. I just was thankful you guys would ask. And then you guys do me dirty? You do me dirty?
You did get done wrong. He shouldn't have been available, Coz. But Damon Bruce Bonte with the line of the year on the thread. The guy that asks about auto draft hours before the draft should automatically be expelled. That was phenomenal. But, guys, we got Giants. Are you concerned? You confident or panicked? I am panicked, Coz and Bonte, because this is not about a team. This is not about the Dodgers or the Brewers. This is about now COVID. This is about Gosman regressing. And now 60% of your staff is nowhere to be found. You score one run in the last 18 innings.
Wow.
I'm panicked, Coz and Bonte.
Hey, Guru, the bullpen is getting used. You can't keep asking the bullpen to get you 6, 9, 12 outs a game. You're going to wear out, man. I'm not panicking. But I am a little concerned here, Guru, because to me, it's NLCS or bust. When you have a 60% win percentage in the first 5 months of the season, you're not allowed to lose in the first round of the playoffs, Guru. I'm thinking big here.
I agree.
You got to at least get to the NLCS, guys. Or this season is a disappointment.
I can't sign my John Hancock to that because this team was supposed to, in my mind, lose 80 to 90 games.
Guru.
So however they flame out, if they do, Bonte, you got to have perspective.
Hey.
But dude, they got COVID, and now what about Cueto? He's sick, they don't even know if it's COVID. I'm just worried.
Is it Cueto? They're calling it Cueto now.
This is bad, man.
Guru.
The Brewers for 3 more.
Hey, the Brewers are legit. They're legit. The goalpost didn't change on the Giants, Guru. It changed once they went into June in first place. And it changed when they came out of the break and won 3 or 4 at Dodger Stadium saying, we're not going anywhere. The expectations changed, Goo.
But they blew the expectations out of the water if they don't win another game, guys.
So you would be cool?
That doesn't mean anything. I wouldn't be cool. I would be disappointed. But when the dust settled, I would step back and say, wow, we had one hell of a year with the platoon system. Charlie Sheen, as Scotty told me yesterday.
I love that.
Yeah, you guys are killing it. The Odd Couple.
I like that. Yeah. What y'all got coming up on the midday show, Goo? We got to run. What you got coming up?
We'll talk about Trey Lance and his finger injury. Big deal, no big deal. And also just this Giants, where you at with them.
All right, Goo. Have a good one.
See you, Goo.
Steiny Guru and Dibs is back in the saddle, 10-2. Don't go anywhere, folks. That's it for Coles and Bonte. Cole's back. He's here all week, baby. He's got more takes in the chamber.
I think the overnight guy from the FM station is going to be coming in.
He's going to be in the check, yeah.
Yep.
All right, that's it for us. Nice job. Nice guy. Nice job, Curly. That's it for us.
Hey, did you know that Arco Gas optimizes your fuel economy?